Yes, y'all. It's going down right now. Episode 61 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horrors coming at you live. I am your host, Moodz616, and of course, I've always got my two Italian stallions with me, NES Ruler 22, also known as Jeremy, and we always got the double shot J, also known as JP. What's up, my Italian stallions? What's going on?
Well,
I guess we're your stallions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Are you gonna take
sort of
advantage
Italian.
of us, or what? Are you gonna make us your bitch or something?
Yeah,
We're
man.
your stallions.
I was gonna say my two little Italian stallions, but
Oh,
I didn't want to, start bringing you guys down already because Jeremy had a rough week last week.
Just because I had the sand trapped in my vagina doesn't mean anything.
Hey, man, it happens. Like I said, I was just confused why you're at the beach this late in the year.
Yeah, I know. It was nice last week though, so
Yeah.
It's out there. Some sand must have just slipped in when I wasn't looking. That fucking bitch.
Oh, it happens, man. That's, those are the things that happen at the beach. But yes, episode 61. This is the start of Italian Horror Month. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I thought this was a great idea. Credit to me for that.
Yes.
But I'm just excited because it's a huge arc. Like when people look back at our library and they see this little arc, that's when we hit it big time. We did this big thing and we getting ahead of myself, but I think we're gonna actually do it. Hopefully we don't miss any episodes because that would really F us.
I thought it was kind of I thought it was kind of funny, pre-game and stuff. You're like, yeah, okay, we're not going to do what we watch this week and no segments. And I'm like, motherfucker, this whole goddamn month is my segment. Italian Stallion month.
I'm
like, yeah.
It's better than watching 9 Children in the Corn movies in a week, though.
Yeah. I still talk about that where I'm like, I cannot believe, now I feel like I can do anything. I've watched 9 Children of the Corn movies in 7 days, or 6 days. And I was just like, wow, we always, if you look back into the Halloween episode, we split that up because we were so nervous about even watching 6 in a week, right? And we did 9 freaking Children of the Corn movies. It's so impressive.
I think you have to credit the films themselves, though, because a lot of them are about 80 minutes, which made it so much more enjoyable. Could you imagine
if they were an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah, man, if those were 100-minute films, man, that week would have been... It's amazing what just a few extra minutes would have done.
I know.
Our mentality would have been through the fucking door, man. We would have never been able to do that.
We would have rated them all Hall of Fame worthy just for the fact that they were too long.
Well, yeah, it's exactly it, man.
I
like you always
them
say...
all Hall of Fame worthy anyway.
Yeah, well...
Too.
They were definitely there. Like you always said, JP, the first 90 minutes of a film is free, and then, anything after that you got to earn.
Yep.
And, at least those ones weren't even getting to 90 minutes. So,
yeah.
Some were 77 minutes.
I know, that's good. That's good. Ugh.
See, but I prefer that. When I'm watching a bad movie, I love when it's in the full moon territory range, 60 to 70 minutes. It's 80 sometimes, but
it's actually kind of funny because when I was doing my the 31 Days of Horror, I watched a lot of movies that were between 70 and 83 minutes. Oddly enough, it was just the way I was picking films. I was like, hey, this movie's really short too. I'm like, maybe I got something going on here. It was kind of weird, but it's nice because it's a quick watch, and I'm like, okay, sweet, and I just review the film and move on. But yeah, it's a big difference, man, between 80 minutes and 90. It's crazy.
It's so big and it doesn't seem like that big. What the fuck's 10 minutes, right? But when you really just see the film end at 80 minutes, it is such a different feeling. It really is. I don't understand why that 10 minutes is such a big deal. But I guess you think about all these different places where these 10 minutes, it's almost it's not like they chopped off the end of the film. It's probably seconds in each scene, that add up. So yeah, I mean, I love shorter films sometimes. I love longer films when they're done right. If they're the first 90's free, the rest you have to be doing something well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. There's nothing worse than watching a film going,
this one,
yeah,
time
exactly.
time checking nonstop. That's the worst.
Time checking, hitting the info button on your remote, and you're just like, I hate that feeling, man. And then it really does ruin the movie for you.
Yeah.
Even if you're liking the first 2/3, you're like, hey, this is dragging. Yeah. But yeah. All right. So Dario Argento. Fuck, I can't talk. We are doing the Animal Trilogy for the people out there that do not know. And that, of course, includes The Bird with the Crystal Plumage from 1970. And, of course, The Cat o' Nine Tails from 1971 and Four Flies on Grey Velvet, also from 1971. It's pretty incredible that he managed to put out those three films, you know, in like a 2-year span. That's
The same thing happens with Fulci next week as well. 80, 81, and 81, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is true. You know, in today's world, that would be pretty much unheard of to be doing these type of films. I would assume it would be really hard to do.
Oh, it for sure is. Unless you're like Charlie Band or something, you're not going to be cranking them out that fast because.
Well, yeah, but you know, with Charlie Band films, those are going to be like 74-minute films. I mean, these are like 100+ minute films.
Yeah, they're long.
You know, and they're crafted and they're well done and stuff. But Charlie, it's almost incomparable. But I mean, I know what you're saying though. You could do 3 or 4 if you're Charlie Band, but.
The system has changed. No longer can you just be like, okay, we're gonna go shoot on this day. Now you have to do all this pre-prep to go shoot. Like you have to put in paperwork and make sure everything's in line. You know what I mean? Like everything has slowed down. Every single bit of the process has slowed down. The pre-production, the production, the post-production, all of that has slowed down. And it's interesting because you look at somebody new, right? Like an Adam Green or something. There's sometimes years between his films, but he's if you listen to his podcast, he's literally making the film for years because it just takes so long to get things in motion, and once they're in motion, to keep them in motion. And while they're in motion, you have to still deal with all these things that just didn't exist back in the 70s.
Internet.
Yeah, internet for one.
Well, yeah, and that's Adam Green's a great example, but he's busy with so many things going on too. His TV show, podcast, doing probably conventions, obviously producing, writing, whatever he's doing. He's got a million things going on. Back in 1970, Argento was he was a screenwriter too. I mean, he had originally wrote westerns and stuff. Yeah, before this and stuff. So he was in the industry, but even to write and direct these 3 movies in 3, it's just. It really does blow my mind. It's crazy, so. Yeah,
and like you said, Adam Green is busy, so that is a good point, but that even goes to show, like, he is one of the busier filmmakers, and he still is not pumping them out like Argento did in that, little gap right there.
Yeah, it's like just a difference in generations, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really, really strange, but yeah. Alrighty, so we got some news this week?
We have some news, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, actually, again, I just was not keeping up on the news, so I don't have the slightest clue.
There's not much. There is not much. First up, we have a acquisition. IFC, which I guess that would also mean Scream Factory, at least as far as we know, has picked up another film out of, I believe, some sort of festival. I don't remember exactly which one, but this one is an Australian horror film called The Pack. And it is supposed to hit release in the spring of 2016. A farmer must fight a ferocious pack of feral wild dogs. That's basically
wild dogs.
I like stuff like that. First of all, I'm a huge fan of killer animal films. So Australia seems to be able to do killer animal films still pretty decently.
Is this like an Australian remake of The Pack from the 70s? Isn't that one about a pack of killer dogs too?
I don't know.
It is, but that's really interesting. Yeah, there's a few movies called The Pack actually. That's
a few.
Yeah, another.
So this is going to be another one of those ones where you go to search it next year and 19 movies are going to pop up.
Yeah,
but that's interesting because Australia, making a movie called The Pack, because I'm pretty sure I've actually never seen this movie, but I'm pretty sure it's about killer dogs from the 70s. So.
Killer dogs or killer wolves has to be if you're calling it a pack.
When you first said The Pack, I was expecting you to say a pack of killer boars or something like that.
That would be cool.
Kangaroos.
Yeah. Kangaroos. Now, wouldn't that be funny? A pack of killer.
How has that not been done yet?
No doubt, right? What are these Australians waiting for?
Zombie kangaroos? Come on.
Or zombie giraffes. Zombie giraffes. Come on.
Oh yeah,
Saw
that's
the
just
giraffes.
something that I can't even like. I don't even know if there's a horror film with a giraffe in it. You know what I mean?
Until now.
Probably not, man. I mean, they're
Giraffes
not.
blow my mind. I
They're not
seen
really
one
the
when I
most
was a
common
kid.
animal.
I seen one when I was a kid at the zoo, and it literally like destroyed my mind. I was like, how did this thing come to be? What
I know.
like it is a nightmarish idea. It's like something that is doesn't seem like it should be real.
Yeah, they are a little bizarre, aren't they?
A
Yeah.
little. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see Scream Factory pick that up. I'm curious to know like how long this deal is going, because at first I was really down for it, and I still like the fact that more of the IFC films are receiving Blu-rays, unlike back when it was just IFC. Like 90% of them would be DVD only. But it is just, if you're a collector of Scream Factory, it really ruins your life.
Yeah, it does. And I don't remember who made the point. It might have been
$1.50
Zach.
bitches.
Yeah, I think it was actually Zach that said it, but I kind of agreed with him too. When IFC was putting out, their releases and stuff, and I think IFC had a few Blu-rays and stuff, but they weren't that expensive. But now that Scream Factory is distributing, or has this deal with IFC, the prices are crazy. Like if IFC was just putting out that title, say like The Stranger or something like that, you could probably get that Blu-ray for $10. And but now that Scream Factory's involved, it costs you $20, or it's just more,
That was
right?
the point, right?
Well,
So
typically when I would grab an IFC Blu-ray at Walmart or something, it would be at about 14 or 15, but still that's even less than what they are now, which is 20.
yeah, so as a collector, you're kind of looking at it going, well, if they were just IFCs, they'd be cheaper. And
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where people are coming from completely.
Yeah,
So,
you probably get more range with Scream Factory, but then you're gonna have to pay two people, so you have to hike up the price. It's kind of one of those things that if it did go away, I wouldn't be disappointed.
well, I mean, I've been down for the idea of Scream Factory and IFC, their deal that they've had, because they have released some pretty quality films. But on when you look at the whole situation, as a collector, it does suck because a lot of the films are very hit and miss, and some of them are so miss that you just feel cheated.
Alien
You're like,
Outpost.
you're like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh my God, Alien Outpost, so bad. But that's a great example of a film that was just completely trash. And
But like IFCs are like that though.
yeah,
You're gonna get some
They
trash,
have always
like,
been like that.
like Spider Hole, and then you're gonna get good movies like
hmm
not Dark Summer, fucking Black Haven.
But it's interesting that if Scream Factory is going to sign a deal with IFC, who's picking up all these independent films and stuff, why wouldn't they just try to kind of work it out where let's really screen these films, look at them, and let's put out the best of the best.
Because they still sell, even the bad ones still sell well,
Mhm.
being in Walmarts and stuff.
I
And
rent them out at Family Video all the time. I see.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, like if you're running Scream Factory, and like, are you really proud that even though Alien Outpost sold 2,000 copies, like,
More
do you really want that on your Scream Factory filmography or whatever?
probably,
It's like,
probably do.
ugh, I don't know, man. Like for me, it just seems like sometimes I feel with Scream Factory right now, it's quantity over quality. And I know I've heard that from I think a few other people are on the same page with me too. I mean, it's just some of the releases in general, but like some of the IFC ones I could just completely do without. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little worried about like what they're going to do in the future, if they're just going to start bombarding us with more and more IFCs, and then it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I really wish that they would go more quality, because if you would go and cut out the Alien Outposts of the world and you just left, The Stranger and like that Dark Summer one that you like, then you're looking at something
Harvest.
different, right? You're looking at something like it's 100% positive. And even if you took like the mediocre ones, the ones that are just maybe like 6s out of 10s or 5s out of 10s, that's still better than like the bad ones being in there.
Yeah.
And you would kind of look at it at a different light. You wouldn't even begin to have a negative feel for the IFCs had there not been bad ones.
So have we seen like the end of like the sci-fi and chiller films?
I'm feeling like, yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like they're picking up mostly IFCs, but they do their Blood-Sucking Bastards and that Takashi Miike film. They're still doing those, but I don't think.
Well,
that
yeah, they're
we're
still putting
seeing
out
those.
contemporary titles, like, just but not made for, chiller sci-fi films, because
Yeah.
that kind of was their thing to start out with until they got their deal with IFC. But yeah, they are putting a lot more just straight up contemporary films out, like The Battery and stuff like that, which was really good.
Or
But I was curious because I was putting my my Screen Factories away in my collection the other day, and I have them organized like that. Like I have the IFCs together and like the sci-fi and chillers, and I was just kind of going through and just looking at them. I was like, yeah, hit and miss, kind of thing. And I'm
yeah,
like,
and then
wait
he
a
got
minute,
the
they
Dark
haven't really
Hall, and
put...
he was like, hit.
Yeah, Dark Hall's a shitty film, but I did.
No, it's a terrible
No,
film.
no, it totally is. It totally is. But I was.
It's not a shitty film. It's
I was
terrible.
oddly entertained too. So
It's
but
more hideous than JP's Mexican asshole. So,
but my point is that I was kind of looking. I noticed that like wow, like the IFCs and the contemporary titles have really kind of taken right over those sci-fi and chillers that they originally did. So I was wondering if if that is the end of it, kind of thing.
Well,
So
I guess the question would be, or are there more in general? Like, have you been keeping up with what Chiller's been doing? Because I haven't. Have they made more movies?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
haven't heard anything.
Yeah, so
What about the Chilling Senses or whatever? I can't remember what it's called, but the part
States
2.
of Fear. Yeah,
The five.
I don't
So
know what
part-
happened to that. I don't even think that has a release on disc right now.
Because I mean it was put out by, wasn't it?
It was a Chiller original movie, I believe.
It was Chiller. So, and that kind of got me thinking. I was like, yeah, because I was looking at the first one and I was like, well, what happened to part 2?
Mhm.
I wonder if they're going to try and put that out, because I mean, if it's there, it would be nice for the people that are collectors and stuff to have that, but
Yeah.
so I was kind of
Who
going,
knows?
maybe they don't have a deal anymore. Maybe they're not fucking with Chiller or sci-fi anymore, which is, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, because I mean, let's be honest here. Most of the films that Chiller and sci-fi put out were, they weren't like the most god-awful things in the world, but they were not overly memorable either. So besides Beneath, I really like Beneath. I know that's a perfect title that separated everybody.
Mhm.
It was one of those where you were either right here or like you were way at the bottom.
People still give me shit about the fish.
I know,
because I think the fish looks real as fuck, and everybody else is like, "You're crazy."
I'm pretty sure Zach said something the other day about it too.
Yeah,
He
I
even said,
remember
he goes,
somebody saying something.
yeah, he's like, Beneath is a good film, but the fish fucking looks shitty.
Ah.
I'm like, I just had this. I had this thought in my mind right when I read that, and I was like, it's funny. I'm like, this is pretty much what people said about Jaws back in the 70s. They're like, man, the movie was great, but the fucking shark looks shitty, man.
Yeah.
Kind of made me laugh. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows with Screen Factory? I just wish they would honestly kind of cool it down a little bit with the IFCs and just kind of focus on. I've said this a million times. Let's just put out more things like Blood and Lace. Just these obscure titles. People are buying these things. They have to be.
Nah.
Again,
They're
let's
not
see some
there.
fucking numbers.
They say they have came out and said like titles like Scarecrows, who everybody kept saying they wanted, sell poorly. When then you put a Alien Outpost in Walmart and it does great. I think that's the main problem. They're using that argument, and it's like, well, yeah, Scarecrows wasn't in Walmart.
Yeah, put it in Walmart.
That's exactly
I'll
what
buy
it is.
it.
And like, okay, so what's the deal with that? Why can't Screen Factory get like their regular releases? I mean, they obviously had Mad Max, which was strange, and everyone was.
But it wasn't really strange if you think about it, though, because it is like a huge title, and it is like Day of the Dead was in Walmart before. I
Only
think
DVDs.
only DVD. Yeah,
exactly. But my point is that if you can have the Blu-ray of Mad Max in Walmart, why can't you have Bordello of Blood and Demon Knight?
Because I honestly think, and I don't know any insider information, but from just like the language that I've heard people say, things that they talk about when I listen to these interviews and read these interviews, to me it seems as if Walmart is the person that decides what goes and what stays. Like,
well, I actually have heard that before, because I know they do screen a lot of films. Like certain films that maybe have a bad reputation, like they're probably not going to have Human Centipede in Walmart for sale. But, all that type of information that I was absorbing kind of got thrown out the window last week when I was in Walmart. And I literally laughed to myself. I walked by and I Spit on Your Grave 3, right there for everyone to fucking see. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, no, if Walmart really is screening these titles based on, okay, this title probably isn't appropriate for our type of, our work business. Why do they have I Spit on Your Grave 3 sitting right there then?
I don't think that's
and why
the
not?
case. anymore. If you remember back to when Dimension Extreme was around, and
Okay,
they
well,
put
let's just put it
inside
this way.
in
Why
Walmart,
doesn't? Yeah, yeah,
that was a huge thing. It got banned, and there was a huge thing. That has cooled down since. Like
yeah.
they don't really have problems with that anymore. But I just think they look at titles like they don't want retro titles unless they're huge, like Mad Max, where there's a new movie coming out, and then they know that will sell, as it does every edition that they put out. But then they only really want the new films because they can put it in the new releases section. They don't really stick the retro ones in the new release section that often.
I saw Mad Max at Family Video too on Blu-ray. I was like, oh, this is weird. They have an old Scream Factory here. It's like, oh, I wonder what's up with this. Why do they have Mad Max? So like when I found Toxic Avengers, I was like, why do they have Toxic Avengers?
Yeah. But for me, it's just like, if I was running Scream Factory, I would try to work out that deal. I mean, if I'm going to have some things, even if they don't go in the new releases, like, Walmart still has sections for, the catalog titles, right? Right. So put those in there, just maybe create different sections. I don't know. But I would really try to push that, because if you're having some, obviously your newer titles and stuff, and I mean, that's partly the reason why we keep getting more IFCs and stuff, because they are in Walmart, they're selling, and that's why they keep putting out more. But and this is, if they're literally announcing that titles like Scarecrows and stuff aren't selling as much, why wouldn't you try to push this and be like, hey, we need to get these in there?
Because no one would buy them.
Yeah, I just think that I think that they are. Like, I can't imagine a situation where they're not trying or they haven't been trying. Because
I completely disagree, Jeremy. I think if I saw Scarecrows in
because
Walmart,
we're fans.
Yeah, but that's us. Like,
yeah, I know, but there is still lots of
time in Walmart and watch where people go, they're not picking up the Halloween 6 Blu-ray that was released. They're picking up like the weird movies that are fucking just new released, like the ones with shitty covers.
Yeah, I know, but it just has to get out there. It just has to get out there to fans. I mean, there is a lot of us collectors and fans out there that, I mean, if we all knew that they were selling Scream Factory Blu-rays, if I go pick up Ghost Town in Walmart, the word gets out, people are going to go. And they're going to go and grab them from there.
Yeah, they will, but I honestly do
but that's
believe
all
that's
all you have to market
like
to.
Think sometimes.
You don't have to market it. You don't have to market this to Jeremy's mom. She's not going to go out there and be like, hey, here's Ghost Town, I'm going to buy that.
Maybe. My mom's pretty fucking awesome.
I'm just using a quick example. But yeah, your mom is cool. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you get the word out, it's just like Diabolic DVD. My dad's not going to just go and shop at Diabolic. Oh, what we got here? Possession special edition. Yeah. It's marketed to us. It's just for us. So if you try to get the word out there, I mean, obviously Walmart's for, the mass quantity of society.
General public. It is huge.
But if you get that word out to like the average collector that you can buy these titles there, fuck, man, I bet you they go in.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I honestly, truly believe that they will go into Walmart to pay.
So why
I think
if go into Best Buy
us,
to buy them when they've been at Best Buy recently?
Hold up.
Because Best Buy is hit and miss with the releases. Like sometimes they have shit, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, but what happens when they do have it? People don't go. Like, oh, I have to go to Best Buy to get this Scream Factory.
I completely disagree. I hear people all the fucking time.
But why would I go to Best Buy when I just go get it on Amazon for cheaper? And
people do go for those titles, right? But I don't think that it makes big enough of a dent to warrant stocking Scream Factory's lineup every week, whether it's retro or. I honestly don't think it'll make enough of a difference. They probably have tried things like this in the past. Walmart's been around a long time. They probably have put like the retro titles up, and they probably haven't sold.
Well, maybe it's the fact that people didn't know that they were there.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe no one knew. I mean, because, realistically, I mean, Walmart's a place that I never really think about, too drastically about grabbing films that much. Like, just for me, I just don't, because where I live, I don't really have a lot of places, so I do a lot of online shopping. That's just my mentality. I kind of forget about places like that sometimes. So I mean, maybe that's the mentality with a lot of other people too. They're like, Walmart, they won't have this. So they just assume. But I'm saying, if you get the word out there, hey man, they are collecting these, but I mean, stocking them. So the collectors, but who knows?
I just think the collectors are too small to really have some kind of big impact to make sales go up high enough to keep them.
It's all about
I
shelf space
personally
and
would
money.
buy all of my Scream Factories at Walmart because they would be the price that you can get them on Amazon. If there was a Blu-ray of every Scream Factory released at Walmart, I would get them all there.
I don't know, man. I just find it interesting that, like, I understand a lot of people that, when they see the new horror films out, they buy those and stuff. Maybe they're not like bona fide collectors and stuff, but even here, I mean, those titles seem to go, and even the Scream Factories and stuff that are at HMV and stuff, they seem to sell all the time around in the city
Mine don't.
that I live in. And it's strange. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of those titles. Like, I remember I was talking to a buddy that worked there and we were talking about Deathbed. And I got on the conversation about this because when the title had came in, it surprised him. He's like, "Oh, fucking Deathbed! We got Deathbed. That's crazy." Anyways, he put it off to the side specifically for Dylan, actually. So I know Dylan knows the story, but and then we started talking about it, and Dylan bought his copy, and then I bought a copy, and then they kept restocking it, and it kept selling like over and over again. I'm like, "Hey, who the fuck are these people buying this shit?" And it just kind of started getting me thinking. I was like, "Hey, I have noticed that a lot of these type of titles that they are carrying, if it's like a Synapse title or Blue Underground, they're selling."
Mhm.
So I'm like, who the fuck
Maybe
is
it's just a
buying these?
Canadian.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like even my FYE, for example, Scream
it's
Factories sit
probably
there
due-
forever.
Well, it's probably due to the fact that the city that I live in, there's very limited places to buy things, right? Like we only have one HMV, right? There's a fucking Best Buy, there's a Walmart and stuff, but I mean, let's be honest, man. Our Walmart and Best Buys they're pretty trashy. They're pretty shitty. So maybe that's why. That could be partly the reason why, because it's people are getting out and they're seeing a physical copy there, so they're buying it. I mean, obviously, if I had like 1,000 places in town to buy shit, probably wouldn't sell as well. But who knows?
I think
Who
the
knows,
biggest
right?
thing of this whole conversation is the fact that these companies do not share information with us. Like the Scream Factories, the Synapses, all of the companies, the Arrows, everybody, they do not fucking share the information. They don't say like, "Hey, we've been trying to get in Walmart forever with our retro titles." They
Yeah.
never share, and then we just have speculation, which drives me crazy.
But then again, it makes for entertaining conversation though too, because I mean, if we knew all the facts right now, would we be having this conversation? No, because we would know the facts.
I guess so. So
Right?
let's
We'd
have
be like, "Hey guys, well, what's the point of this conversation? We know that Walmart doesn't stock them because they don't want those titles in there." Oh shit, okay, move on.
all right.
But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's totally like that, and I don't know, man. It could be that case. Walmart, like Jeremy just said a while ago, it is about shelf space, and maybe Walmart just kind of looks at it and goes, "Well, those we just don't want those titles in there because we think that they're not going to sell, so we're going to stock
Ghostlies.
Yeah, we're gonna stock fucking 4,000 Ghostlies over here, and keep Ouija. We're gonna have Ouija over here, and fucking, how Walmart is, man. They just seem to take up so much space with so much useless shit. But maybe that's what they do. Maybe that's their mentality.
Yeah.
And maybe Scream Factory is pushing for it, and Walmart's going, "Fuck you guys, man. Your guys' shit isn't good enough."
I can't see them not pushing for it because they know this. They know they're smarter. They have to be smarter than us. They have to be. Like I would not.
Yeah.
They need to be smarter than us to be a successful company. So I can't see them being like, where we sell a lot of copies, Walmart. Like maybe we should not put any of our stuff in there though.
Because didn't you have a stat? Didn't you have a stat like on a show way back in the day about you broke it down to the market. How much was bought online for media and how much was sold in Walmart. And apparently Walmart sells like it was some astronomically high number. It was like 70% of the market of
video
media
releases.
Of video releases is sold in Walmarts.
And that doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either because there is so many Walmarts. That's the thing. Like they're just mass produced, like the Walmarts themselves. So that makes a lot of sense. But the number was really, really high considering people are lazy these days. They like to sit at home and shop online. And that really surprised me that how much.
Yeah, but you're forgetting about the old people in the world. Yeah. There's still a high percentage of people who are old that exist.
Who's remembering old people?
You think old people are going into Walmart and they're like, "Ooh, I spit on your grave 3."
Those old people don't like me, so I don't like them either. Fuck them.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, though. It's like that was pretty interesting. I remember we even had a bunch of comments about that too, and I was blown away by those numbers. It's just like, holy shit, really?
Yeah.
I just would have thought that it would have been a little more close with the internet because of the convenience of internet. I mean, for fuck's sakes, man, I have bought shit before as I'm boarding a plane.
See, I really don't though, man, because in my area, like, I talk to people all the time. Very few people actually shop online. Like, that I know personally at work. Like, I'm talking if the next 100 people that I bump into, I bet you only 20% of them actually regularly shop online.
See, now this is all relative to where you live, though, too.
True.
You know, for somebody like Jeremy, I mean, if I lived where Jeremy did, I would probably do 5% online because I would be out all the time.
Yeah, think about how many places we went to when you were here in a week, and that like didn't even like.
Yeah,
we
man.
didn't even like go shopping downtown. Like downtown, there's like a trillion other places I could have taken.
And that's the fun of it, because I prefer to go out and hunt to get my hands dirty like Jeremy does. I think that's so much more fun. It's just way better. It's way more fun. So if I
get that rush when you find something really rare and they're like, oh
yeah, I would pretty much only shop online for the things that, you know, for something that I know I'm not going to find or something I need right now, you know, but I'd be hunting all the time. See, where I live, you can't do that, man. See, if you asked 100 people around here, I bet you 96 of them buy shit online.
That's crazy.
Because there's nowhere to shop. That's just the problem. So I think it's all relative to the area you live in too. So you have to kind of look at that. It's a little different down in the U.S. You guys have,
then you have to look at what
to buy things
what
too, right?
percentage of areas are more along the lines of me and Jeremy, and what percentage of the areas of the countries are along the lines of you.
Yeah.
So you know, I guess we should move on, but that's an interesting conversation, and I would be curious to see numbers specifically. How much does an IFC title sell more than Scarecrow's? Is it 2 times? Is it 6 times? I think those numbers would be very interesting to see, simply because it could actually be something really significant, like 8 or 9 times as many copies being in a Walmart.
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting, like, you know, like not serious, but like, you know, a Dateline episode where, you know, a journalist goes around and gets the info from all these companies that we're not hearing. You know, it'd be nice to go talk to Screen Factory. Hey, what's your guys' story? What's your story, Walmart and stuff? I mean, this week I found out that Diabolic DVD is ran out of a guy's basement in a house. I literally thought it was a fucking huge warehouse.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Wasn't that special feature awesome?
Yeah, dude, it was so interesting to me. And like, I would love to know that guy's numbers. Like, how good he obviously does pretty well. Yeah. You know, and
I think we might be surprised at how unwell how much he doesn't make, though.
Well, the thing is, the way I look at it, man, the average person, in my opinion, like if you go to Diabolic, you're probably going to spend between $50 and $100 every time, right? It doesn't really take much to spend $50. It's like 2 things, right? So I mean, if you're doing 10 sales a day, you know, that's $1,000. I don't know what he pays.
What's
to bring
his profit margin, though? That's what you have to know. What
but he must buy them on wholesale, though.
The thing is with Diabolic, I'm assuming that he pays a little more because he does bring in products from all over the world, right? Like that's what he specializes in. He brings in things that you can't get here, and that's the cool thing about Diabolic, and that's why a lot of people shop there, because you know, it's just your one-stop convenience. You want to go to Amazon.uk to buy this 88 film release. You want to go to Amazon.Germany or whatever it is, DE or whatever, you know, to buy this release. Well, go to Diabolic. They have them all. That's the beauty of Diabolic, and I think maybe he probably does pay a little bit more.
Yeah, but you pay a little bit more too. It's like, do you want to get it fast or do you want to wait and pay less?
Pay less. Me.
Yeah. No, not me. I'd rather pay more and get it faster, but I'm just an impatient.
You would never rather pay more. Listen, who are you trying to fool?
See, because I could get everything I want just going and buying it in person. Like, I know a store right now, this independently owned store up in Wisconsin. My friend Nick, me and him go there sometimes when we go up to Wisconsin hunting. They have every fucking new Scream Factory and everything that you would imagine. Like, they literally have, like, everything. And I walked in and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Too bad I'm a Jew and don't want to spend the money. But like somebody like Moodz or JP, they would fucking love this shit. Like I went in there the day Ghost Town came out and there was like 4 copies sitting on the shelf. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, one last thing. In places like Diabolic, you know, even knowing like even more how independent it really is, you know, it just makes me want to support that, because that's kind of like your one-stop shop, you know, kind of thing. And, you know, I'd say people support it. I haven't done any orders in a long time because it's just not even reasonable for me to import right now because our dollar sucks cock. So unfortunately, I haven't been shopping there, but you guys should. Don't neglect it.
Okay.
Well, I'm not just talking to you two. I'm talking to everybody else.
Yeah, I get it.
Support.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of supporting everything that's needs supported. So definitely support it.
Yeah.
All right. So after that lengthy
Are we
one,
still on the news?
yeah,
That was just the first one.
piece.
Shit.
That was like 45 minutes of.
All right, so moving on, we got Mick Garris. Last week we said that he was working on an anthology. I asked you guys, what do you guys think? Is he bringing in old directors or new directors? Well, we now have the answer of who those directors are for his anthology that will be shooting in early 2016. It is a collection of 5 stories. The first one, Mick Garris, obviously, he's involved. Then probably the only other huge name that I know, which is Joe Dante, the Howling Gremlins, obviously.
Wow.
Then you have Japan's Ryuhi. I'm not going to say his name anymore. Midnight Meat Train and Versus.
Versus is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so he did Midnight Meat Train and Versus. And then David Slade, who did Hannibal and 30 Days of Night. And then Cuban director Alejandro, who did One of the Dead.
Cuban?
Oh, One of the Dead is so funny.
I own that and still haven't seen it. But the scripts will be from Mexican authors, I believe, and also.
What's up with all these Mexican anthology films coming out?
Yeah, that's cool, man. That actually sounds pretty promising. That's a pretty good lineup. I have to say I'm a little surprised that Joe Dante's in there. That just surprised me.
Well, Joe Dante and Mick Garris are tight.
No, I know that, but I was just surprised that Dante was willing to. I don't know. I guess he just did that. Oh no, that wasn't him.
No, he did Burying the X. That's
right. He did direct it. I was having a brain fart there, but yeah, I guess he just did that. Yeah, so
yeah, he's still working pretty well. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm always a fan of anthologies, as we'll probably talk about later. But you know, Nightmare Cinema got Joe Dante, Mick Garris. I'll check it out. I'm interested for sure.
Cool.
All right. After that, the Orchard. They have recently been grabbing some titles. They released What We Do in the Shadows. They're grabbing the upcoming anthology Southbound, and now they have grabbed a film called Demon, which
that's original.
Yeah, I guess it was a selection at the 40th Toronto International Film Festival, and I don't know. I think I've heard good things about this one. Peter is a stranger in the hometown of his future wife Janet. As a wedding gift from his bride's grandfather, he receives a piece of land where the two can build a house and raise a happy family. While preparing the land for construction, Peter finds bones of human bodies in the ground beneath his new property. Then very strange things begin to happen.
No, I got a little giddy there because I was literally... Okay, I'm not going to lie. I was taking a poop this morning, and I was reading in the new Rue Morgue. I was looking for a morbid fact, and I actually read this entrail. This is relatable to what he just said. Okay, on September 18th, days after his horror film Demon had its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, 42-year-old Polish director Marcin Warna was discovered dead in his hotel room in Glinda, Poland, where he was premiering the movie at the Glinda Film Festival. Demon is about a blah, blah, blah. So the director died.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that next.
But I just fucking read that. Okay, sorry, JP, to steal your thunder, but I just read that 10 minutes ago. So...
10 minutes ago? I think we were doing the show 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I'm really
10 minutes
not...
before the show, he's saying.
10 minutes before the show.
Poland and Israel is where the film is coming from. Like you said, he is a Polish director. So that's pretty
from my own people.
If anything, the film will probably gain some steam based on that little morbid fact that Moodz just presented us with.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty though.
Yeah. I mean,
really, if it turns out to be a really good film, that's terrible. But
yeah,
that's very odd that you brought that up, and I just read that.
Yeah, it is.
Really weird.
So yeah, that is supposed to be released in 2016.
And what was the company again that picked that up?
Orchard.
Okay.
Yeah,
and so they're releasing a movie called Demon, so I'm assuming they're releasing The Pack too. Let's just grab all the generic titles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely. I mean, that's. I like titles like that. But there's just so many of them that it does kind of get a
It's
little
just hard to search,
confusing.
man.
Yeah. So next up, we have Sci-Fi Films, new banner, which is, I guess, a venture partnership with Exhilarator Media, who does the Macabre label.
Yeah.
They are producing a new sci-fi psychological thriller called 400 Days. A small crew of astronauts are put into a simulated mission to see what psychological effects they will undergo when they face deep space travel.
This is a real thing.
The duration of the test is 400 days. Sci-Fi is aiming for a theatrical release in January 2016.
Huh. Sounds kind of cool.
So I'm taking it that it's the Sci-Fi TV network because it's spelled SYFY, which is not how you spell sci-fi.
Yeah.
So Sci-Fi Films is like going big budget now? What? They must have really banked on those Sharknado films.
Yeah, really. That's crazy, man. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it does sound fucking creepy awesome though.
Whatever, man, if it's really good, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
You know, just putting really good next to a sci-fi film is just...
Well, they used to release good. I wouldn't say really good, but they used to release good films.
Recent stuff.
Yeah, definitely not recently. So after that, we have some Arrow video announcements. They had announced a couple UK-only titles, which I believe was Audition, the Miike film.
Yeah.
What is the other one? I'm not really sure. I think they were re-releasing the Hellraiser box set as well, in a limited, not limited, but less awesome version than it previously was. Correct? Am I right?
Yeah. Okay. So what was the deal with that? Is it just missing the booklet? Because I didn't really look into it too much.
It's just not as awesome looking. Like, it's just a box and the 3 films in their own cases. It didn't have like the poster, everything that was in that. It's not the Scarlet Gospel, whatever the hell they called it, Scarlet box. It's not. It doesn't look like that. Different cover art, stuff like that. But it does look to have all of the features that was. There's like a ton of features on here on all 3 of the releases. So I imagine that it's still going to have all the awesome features that were on the other one. I haven't cross-referenced to see if there are any that are not on there, but I mean, it looks pretty stacked. That's going to be...
Yeah, the other title was $5 for an August Moon, if you're wondering.
Okay.
The Mario Bava film. Because remember, I made a post about it yesterday because I just picked up the Kino Blue, and I was like, of course it get announced by Arrow.
Yeah.
Fuck. Go figure every time.
So those were that Hellraiser box. Some people are mad about it, and some people are cool with it. I don't really care because I do believe they did say that. I believe they have said multiple times that their limited stuff they will re-release in non-limited formats.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that about everything. So I don't know what people are tripping about.
Yeah. But I mean, it does kind of suck for those people who spent all that money on there. If they, I think it would be different if they said like, this is the only way you're gonna get it, and then they release.
Well, I don't think it really sucks because the edition is really nice, and I think most people that have it are pretty happy with it.
Yeah, for me, I would be disappointed if I had bought it and not known, because honestly, what does that edition have that this one doesn't? It just looks different. That's not important to me. What is important is those features and the films themselves. Like,
yeah,
I feel like paying that. I don't know. I'm not really. I wouldn't be bent out of shape about it unless I didn't know that they were going to re-release it right away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's coming out. It is Region B, of course. Then they announced a couple U.S. titles, and one of them is, it doesn't look like a horror film, but it's it's Pray for Death, which looks like a ninja film. Anybody know anything about that?
Ninja?
No, I actually don't.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, if you like those ninja films, which I know Moodz does, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they are they're all right. So yeah, it looks like a vigilante ninja film. And then they announced a Pam Grier title, which I thought was pretty cool. Sheba Baby. This is a US UK title as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, another another Pam Grier title coming out. And then they announced a box set, which is American Horror Project Volume 1. You guys hear of this one?
Yeah, I did see the post today. This is an interesting looking box set. It's kind of cool. It's got The Witch Who Came from the Sea. That was a video nasty. Cool.
The Premonition and Carnival of Blood, or Molestias. Carnival.
Yeah, I have to say I don't know the other two titles.
Yeah, I don't really understand what they're trying to do here. The American Horror Project? I don't really know what that means.
No, I don't. I was kind of confused by it too. Okay, it says everyone knows the classic American horror titles: Night of the Living Dead, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and A Nightmare on Elm Street, to name a few. But we want to tell you a different story. A story of unsung heroes of American terror. Okay. What the fuck does that mean?
I think they're just trying to make it's literally just them trying to design a story around this box set.
Yeah, this is strange. Whether it's a film that has languaged in obscurity or a movie that's a risk of being lost due to lack of source material, American Horror Project is here to ensure that these unique slices of the American nightmare are brought back into the public consciousness and preserved for all of us to enjoy. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's literally...
It's just like obscure titles then that they're just thrown into a box set?
That are American.
Weird.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a nice little set. I'm not going to say that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
because
thing.
It's Arrow, though, so
I love
you're going to get
box
quality.
sets. Like, I'm such a sucker for box sets, so I'll probably pick this up because I just love box sets. But I do like when there's like a theme to them, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a fake theme.
It's almost like they're just reaching for the stars on this one.
It's fake. You're phony. Nothing but a phony.
The Witch Came from the Sea. It's a really interesting film, though. I'm curious to see what the other ones are like.
Interesting, but I mean, honestly, like the way they said like Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw, like these are the great horror films of the past. These ones that we're releasing are not those films, and they're not that like good, but they're rare. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
You get all excited. It's like, yeah, Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's like, yeah, not those guys, but they're kind of like those. Well, they're not really sweet like
Arrow
those,
did
but
those
they're.
Yeah.
Imagine a box set of all those from Arrow.
Yeah,
that'd be so nice.
All right, so moving on here, we got a couple Scream Factory announcements. First up, we have Species 2, the MGM title, coming to Blu-ray. And what was funny, I thought this was hilarious, but you know how normally when they make an announcement, they'll put all the posters from the films that they're announcing? They didn't even bother to put the posters for Species 3 and 4. They just put Species 2 up there on their announcement, but they're also releasing a double feature of Species 3 and 4.
Yeah, of course I already ranted about this. I just don't see the point. Of releasing Species 2 and then 3 and 4 in a double set. I mean, I guess I see the point, but I mean,
they're MGM titles.
You know, I mean, there is a box set that you can buy with all the titles in there. So what happened with Scream Factory? Why didn't they get go after the rights for the first one?
They probably did.
But they couldn't get them.
But they obviously
that's
could.
One of MGM's titles, like Jeepers Creepers, that they really seem to not like to.
But like, my point is, why even? Okay, if you can't get the rights to the first one, why release 2 and 3 and 4?
But I never look at it that way. I say, why not? Like, just because one film can't be released, should you never have Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, or 2, whatever, or should you never have Phantasm 2 hit Blu-ray? I'm happy that it hit Blu-ray. I never really look at it that way. Release them all. If some take longer than others, then yeah. I mean, the thing with these is they're just not that desirable films.
Well, and that's the other thing too. But like I said, really, for a lot of people, they're going to look at that and go, I don't really need to upgrade my DVDs. I mean, you can buy the box set with all 4 in it for $10. Individual discs.
Yeah, but they're DVDs though.
They're DVDs, but I mean, some people just whatever. Like, do you need a Blu-ray of
Species
do 3 and 4?
You do.
I'm just pissed off because I'm fucking tired of buying this shit.
Yeah, you're stuck buying it. That's why you're mad. But seriously though, on the conversation of like, I honestly don't think that like you need to. It's either all or none. Like I really do like I would rather have a copy of Pet Sematary 2 on Blu-ray.
No, I
if
would
the
be
first
fine
one
if
was
1 and
never
2 came out. I'd be fine if 1 and 2 came out and they couldn't get 3 and 4. But it's just the fact of not having the first film. It
Yeah,
kind
but
of
that's just
throws me off.
OCD fandom, right?
But then again, it's also nice to watch the first film in a franchise before you put in the fucking sequel.
But there is a Blu-ray, a very affordable Blu-ray of the first film. It's like $7.
But it's not Scream Factory.
See, I think if they would have, it goes both ways though, because let's say they would have announced just the first one or something. They'd be like, well, there's already a fucking Blu-ray of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I honestly wish it would have been the box set, because honestly, that would have made it more intriguing to me to grab. It would have been more desirable.
Films. It would have been more desirable for a box set. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. So I don't know. It just whatever. But 3 and 4, at least they're putting them in a double feature and they're not separate.
Yeah,
my God.
Thank God. Yeah. Because honestly, Species 3, I believe just a couple weeks ago, Jeremy was like, hey, we should do the Species films. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shot.
Species 3 and 4 are not good movies at all.
They're not that good at all. Especially Part 4, man. Part 4 is really bad.
Yeah, I would say that it's possible. I honestly think I've rated them at 5s before, but I was smoking crack back then, so.
See, it happens, man. That's what happened.
Oh, you just weren't a fucking asshole back then.
That morning, I was hitting the rock, and then you're like, "Okay, what's the rating? 5 out of 10."
Yeah, but honestly, like Species 1 is definitely a good film, and I honestly think Species 2 is a good film as well. But those other two are made for sci-fi movies.
Yeah, which sometimes isn't a bad thing, but in this case, it is. So,
yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, this release right here it's going to rank up there with Scanners 2 and 3 for me, just for like a a trilogy or franchise.
You and Scanners, you hate Scanners 2 and 3. It's fun.
I like Scanners 2 and 3, but
those movies are dreadful, man. Oh, they are terrible pacing, awful stories. Oh, they're fucking boring, man. I can't stand those movies, man. They're dreadful for me. I'm really surprised, JP, that you can handle those movies.
They're not good movies. Like, I wouldn't rate them like a high rating. I definitely wouldn't rate them a high rating, but I like them because they're fun. I think I gave the second one a 6 out of 10 and the third one a 5 out of 10.
Oh, man. Well, maybe one day we'll do the Scanners trilogy, and you know where I'm coming.
Yeah, Species 2 is a 7.5 out of 10 in my rating, and Species 3 was a 5 out of 10. Species 4 was a 4 out of 10. I could have been smoking crack back then. I don't really remember them.
Species 4, you gave a 4.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. Interesting.
Yeah. I was a little bit more generous back then. That was in 2013 when I rated those films. I have a list of everything that I rated, and I have when I rated them. So that was from 2013. So nearly 3 years ago.
Interesting.
All right, so let's move on to the next titles announced. They announced, what the hell, Manhunter? Yeah, Manhunter. Is that like a prequel? I've never seen Manhunter. Is that a prequel to fucking Silence of the Lambs or something?
It's the first film with Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
It's released by Anchor Bay in like a really nice special edition.
Yeah, it's got a couple different Anchor Bay releases, but yeah, it's and it's fun. The funny thing about that movie, Hannibal Lecter, is actually spelled different too. I always found that fascinating.
Yeah.
But,
interesting. So they also announced Lady in White.
Don't say Lady in the Water.
Lady in White.
You were close.
Yeah, this is a movie that I've always been curious about, so that's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Have you never seen it?
No, I've never seen it before. I've been curious about it though.
Yeah, I think all of these are kind of slated for 2016. Hannibal, or the Manhunter one, I guess is supposed to be a ultimate collector's edition, whatever that means.
It's ultimate.
Yeah.
Well, it does have some nice additions already, so they're probably acquiring all those features and then putting more in there. I don't know. That's crazy.
Then we have a double pack with Murders in the Rue Morgue and the Dunwich Horror.
Yeah, that's a good double feature.
Yeah. And finally, the title that I was looking forward to, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I knew it was going to happen eventually, and I'm glad that it did.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Anybody who has Arrow release is instantly just like,
Pissed.
I fucking stared at the screen when they announced that, and I was like, why? I'm like, I had a sneaky suspicion that this was going to happen too, but I'm really surprised because the Arrow edition is really, really stacked. Like when they call it like
yeah,
the
but it's
Ultimate
Region
Edition.
2, isn't it?
No, I think the features are. I think the
Okay.
film.
Yeah,
It's an
you're right. That's what it is.
It's an AB release, yeah, and then the movie isn't, but the features are B. So whatever.
That's a huge whatever, though.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
it's not for me.
features are everything.
But I have 2 region-free players.
Yeah, but the
which
general
everybody should have.
public does not, including me.
Oh man, weak sauce. But anyways, the point is, the edition is really, really stacked. Like it's amazing how much shit is really on this. So now I am intrigued to see what Screen Factory actually does. If they import those features, or if they get the rights to them, or whatever, and then they do some more, like this edition is going to be bonkers, man. I think the most exciting thing for me about this release is I'm curious to see the new artwork, what they do with the sanctioned artwork. So,
Watch it be really shitty.
I know. I'm really hoping that this, this ultimate edition that Screen Factory is doing is lackluster. Because man, I mean, it's who knows? I think it'll still sell well because people have. What's that?
Did you say you're hoping it's lackluster?
No, I said I'm hoping it's not.
Oh, I was about to say.
Because I mean, it's going to be really disappointing because this is a hard release to compete with.
Yeah, but for somebody like me who did not buy the Arrow and honestly probably will not buy the Arrow now, especially, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for me because it's one of my favorite horror sequels of all time. It might be my favorite, and I am curious to see what type of features they do. If it's all new stuff, then chances are that it won't be better than the Arrow. If somehow they are able to get some of the Arrow features and add stuff, then I guess it would be better than the Arrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm sure I bet I put money on it that this release gets, gets pushed back a bunch of times.
It could. It definitely could. I mean,
we're doing this and we're doing that, and
they're setting it for 2016 in the summer.
Oh wow, that's actually not that far away when you really think about it. So maybe they've already had the release in the makings for a long time. Who knows? But that's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of to the point where I think they're really getting the last few big MGM titles like Return of the Living Dead, Chainsaw 2. I think those were 2 of the titles that when Scream Factory first came about and they were releasing MGMs, a lot of people asked for them, and they probably just put them off and was like, we'll save these for a rainy day.
Yeah.
The only other ones I could really think of is like Child's Play and Carrie. Child's Play 2 and 3 and Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Which have all been almost released by Scream Factory in the past. But one thing they can improve on is that awful artwork that Arrow did for Chainsaw 2.
Yeah, I don't think it's awful. I don't think
awful.
it's the.
That's
I
an
don't
exaggeration.
Think
but
yeah, I don't think it's.
It's not like it doesn't represent the film very well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I mean, like I said, maybe that's why subconsciously I was thinking, hey, I can't wait to see what Scream Factory does with this artwork. So, I agree.
Chainsaw Massacre.
I agree. It's not the tits of artwork, that's for sure. But
TCM has not had a good like artwork release since the VHS days. If you think about it, right? TCM 2.
Fuck, I love when they're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Electric Boogaloo. Fucking so funny, man. You guys got to see the documentary. It just got me laughing about how I won't even ruin it, but it's fucking so funny. Yeah. The fucking Breakfast Club spoof. Oh my god, so fucking funny when they're talking about this. Great stuff.
That is the news. That's all of it.
Alrighty. That is going to conclude the news. Wow, that went on a little longer than I was anticipating, actually.
That was a long one.
Yeah, it was, actually. But moving along, getting into Mood Swings here and the DVD and Blu-ray releases for November 10th, 2015. And I have to say, this has got to be the most lackluster release date in recent memory. I think probably since, well, what was it? Was it in August where there was a couple weeks where there was like nothing?
Yeah.
Like nothing. This one is pretty bad, I have to say. Now, originally, I think The Mutilator by Arrow was supposed to be released today after the one pushback. I think that one's been pushed back a couple times, which is fine. But it was pushed back to this date a while ago. But getting into the releases, we've got one from Scream Factory here, and of course, IFC. Bound to Vengeance. You know, of course, we cannot talk about Scream Factory and IFC enough. And I have heard really good things about Bound to Vengeance. What have you guys heard?
I have heard mostly good things. I believe even when I talked to a few people who have seen way more movies than me this year, they have recommended this one a few times.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one because, you know, I'm always looking forward to these good IFC releases. But yeah, Bound to Vengeance looks awesome. This one really actually kind of took me by surprise. I was surprised to see this hitting Blu-ray and DVD from Intervision, which is just a sub-label of Severin Films. For the people out there that did not know that, they are the same company. Queen of Blood is hitting DVD and Blu-ray. So this is going to mark the first Blu-ray release for Intervision, or the sub-label of Severin. I mean, Severin has tons of Blu-rays, but under the Intervision label, yes. Queen of Blood. I know absolutely nothing about this movie, so I will definitely have to pick it up because I love Intervision's releases, and it's probably a really shitty film, but that's the way it goes. Really so yeah, Queen of Blood DVD and Blu-ray. That's just took me by surprise, man. And and last for the DVD releases this week, there's a movie called Deep Park that is coming out. This is being released by Uncorked. Don't know anything about it. Really, really pathetic release week. Really pathetic.
Yeah. What is your release of the week?
I know, isn't this like crazy? Yeah, man. I don't even know how to do this, but okay. So for release of the week, not to sound biased or anything, but I am going with the Scream Factory IFC release of Bound to Vengeance because, I mean, the buzz is that it's really good, and that's always a plus.
And we know nothing about the other two, so, I mean, you're going to have to pick something.
Exactly. So, and I mean, yeah, you know, word on the street is that it's good, so, got to go with Bound to Vengeance. So, and by the sounds of it, it does sound like a lot of people are picking that up this week, so that's good.
Cool.
So, yeah. Most definitely the most pathetic week for releases ever. Just awful. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for the DVD and Blu-ray releases. Moving along into voicemails, and I believe we do have a few voicemails / questions this week.
Okay, do we have any written questions, Moodz?
Do we have a written question? I believe that we did have.
Do you have
one? I do. I can't remember which one was actually written. I didn't write it down.
Okay. Then shall we, I guess, read it from the email? Because I do have it from the email.
Yes, do that.
Okay.
I wrote my questions down and the voicemails in order, so I can't remember which one was actually the written one.
Okay, so it says, "Hey guys, sorry for the lame question last week. Ha ha ha. Just kind of tossed some stuff out there. Who knows? This might be lame as also."
Hold on. You like laughing? Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to bring up the topic of future remakes. You probably have talked about this, but I honestly don't remember if you have in any recent podcasts. My girlfriend told me I Know What You Did Last Summer was being remade. This kind of shocked me. But when you really look at it, the movie is nearly 20 years old, which, first of all, that actually surprised me when he wrote that down. I was like, holy cow, that hurts my, life. My lifeline is dying.
Oddly enough, when I read that, I went, what was taking him so long to remake that, considering how they remake things like
Cabin Fever
4 or 5 days after a movie comes out now? You know?
Yeah.
We're not even going to give that fucker a week. We're going to remake that bitch.
Yeah, so he says that he had a similar reaction when he found out about Cabin Fever. What would your thoughts on a surge of remakes coming from the late 90s post-Scream era slashers and horror from the early 2000s. If they are going to start this, I guess I wouldn't mind a Urban Legend remake as long as they don't give it a prom night PG-13 treatment. Speaking of post-Scream slashers, yeah, I know probably the last thing you guys want to talk about. I was glad to hear Cherry Falls was getting Blu-ray treatment from Scream Factory. I really hope they track down the uncut footage. It is definitely one of my favorite flicks from that era. If you have one, what would be your favorite late 90s, early 2000s slasher?
Okay, first of all, I want to touch on the uncut footage of Cherry Falls. We did actually talk about that on last week's podcast. Apparently, it doesn't exist. So
they did say they said they're still looking to see if they can find a place that might have it.
Yeah, but it seems to be that it might be lost or destroyed or something like that. So basically, the cut that Scream Factory is going to be putting out is the cut that we have. Yeah, which is unfortunate. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of yeah, exactly, and that's the way I look at it too. So, true that.
I already had a whole spiel about that.
Yeah. As for the question, favorite late 90s, early 2000s slasher films. Honestly, the very first one that came to my mind, I didn't even hesitate. I actually threw JP a message and I said, I'm going to have to do some research on this one. He thought it was funny. But of course I did, because that's just the way I am. But the first one that actually came to my mind before I even started was Colobus from 1999. It's a slasher film I reviewed, I want to say, on an older channel. I can't even remember when I did the review. It's one that's not really talked about a whole lot, but it's a really fucking good slasher film, man. Really, really good. And it's called Colobus. So definitely check that one out. Just a couple other notable ones. Cut from 2000. I think that one right there is actually starring Molly Ringwald, which is really strange. I believe it's a Australian film. And I know I might catch some hate for this one, but I really enjoy Valentine. I actually didn't like this movie when it first came out, but watching the movie years later, I think it's a really enjoyable early 2000s slasher film from 2001. So, yeah, those are the ones that I'd written down. So,
what about you, Jeremy?
I just went with Wrong Turn.
Yeah, honestly, if we're calling Wrong Turn a slasher, then that would be my favorite as well.
Yeah, I don't really consider it to be a slasher film, but I mean, I'm not going to argue. Whatever. If you consider a slasher film, that's fine. But
if you want to go more like just straight up slasher style, I would probably have to go with one of the late Screams, like Scream 2 or Urban Legend, because I actually do kind of like that one as well. But yeah, I was actually surprised at the lack of good ones that there were in the late 90s that I could really think of offhand.
Well, it's all those big kind of mainstream ones that really overshadow, but there really isn't a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the slasher films are just really popular mainstream ones that came out, you know, from 96 to 99 kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, if you want to consider High Tension to be one from 2003, you know, that was pretty good.
That would definitely be the best one if you're counting that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's debatable. But another one that no one ever really talks about, this is kind of getting into the mids, but it's called Hellbent. It's from 2004. Have you guys heard about this one before?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Hellbent is a really kind of unique slasher film because it's like a gay slasher film. It's really interesting. It's
I have heard of that.
Yeah, but I remember the first time I heard the premise and I was like, it got me so intrigued I had to check it out, and it was really good. It was actually surprisingly really good. I believe it takes place on Halloween too. So, yeah.
Remaking new things, you know how we feel about that, really. I mean, we always will say that it's kind of a pointless remake. Any remake that comes up, unless it's like remaking Film Z from 1976 that nobody's ever heard of. If it's a film that we know, then we're always probably going to say that it's pointless. Until we actually see a trailer, maybe see the film, then we might like it, but initial reaction is always pointless.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, man, you know, getting back to that, I know what you did last summer. You know, some people are shocked, but, you know, it might be a remake and I know what you did last summer. I'm like, giddy up, man. I Know What You Did Last Summer is an awful film in my opinion. I think it's just awful. It's really not that. I never
A
really
lot of
cared
people
for
say
it,
that
even
it's
when
awful though.
I never really understood, I mean, the hype. I mean, I guess I understand the hype behind it because it was, marketed right after Scream and stuff. It made a lot of sense, but I don't really think the movie's that great. And some people just praise the shit out of that. But when I heard the
Who are
rumors that it
those
was getting
people?
remade, I know. And I was like, okay, it's not really that great, man. I mean, the third act in that film is one of the worst ever. It's just god awful. But,
Really?
a remake, I'm like, giddy up. Oh, yeah, the third act's shitty, man. It's really bad.
What, a final chase sequence?
Just the whole probably 40 minutes of the film is just bad. And I mean, and I swear to God,
I would like to
the
discuss
acting in
it
that film even got worse as
over
the film
time.
progressed.
Yeah, I do
Ugh.
remember that. I seen some clips on it on a video on YouTube, and I was like, oh, this doesn't. I liked it at the
It's
time.
tough.
I
Yeah.
feel like I would probably
It
have
doesn't
a
hold up.
realization.
No, it doesn't at
watching
all.
it now.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, man. It's just, but for a remake, I'd be like, okay, whole new cast, let's get some unknowns in there and do it
It's
up properly.
not a bad story, right? Like
No,
this
no, that's the
small,
thing.
like
That's the
fisherman
thing.
town.
Yes.
It's graduation, or what was it on New Year's? What, I forget. 4th of July. It was some holiday that they were, or the graduation. I can't really remember. But they hit somebody, they kill him, they hide the body. They, like that's a good story.
Yeah. And then a year later,
Yeah.
they start getting picked
Yeah,
off.
not a bad like synopsis. Like the overall concept of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I would actually be down for a remake. I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna argue.
All right, we'll see this remake. I guess is that the only written question?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
so let's hop into the voicemails. First up, we have one from Brandon. Yeah, so let's play Brandon.
Hey guys, it's Brandon. I wanted to get this week's message in, hopefully on time. It's about an idea I had. I posted it in the Facebook group, and Jeremy and JP know about it, about an ABC's of Death contest.
Oh, well then fuck you, Brandon.
Story based on a letter they were signed, and JP and I would be the judges, and the top 3 would get prizes. Now, it's still in its very infant stages, but if we can get enough people, at least 10, I figure I would give out prizes for the top 3. Right now I got 6 people who pretty much told me they'd do it. So, yeah, let's spread the word and hopefully get enough people into this. I think it'll be a fun little contest and see what type of ideas people have. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Later.
All right, so that's Brandon announcing another contest type thing that's going to go on in the group page. A written story contest, which is interesting. Fiction.
Yeah, I didn't, get an English degree to actually use it, so I'm not going to partake in this. I'm not fucking writing anything. No, honestly, it's a really good idea. I like the idea. I hope more people get involved in stuff. I just don't have the time to sit down,
man.
And fucking write a story. And because with me, if I sit down, maybe, or I could actually just pull out one of my old ones. But I just don't have the time to sit there and edit because I'm like Jeremy. I can't, I'd send it to him. He'd edit, and I'd have to make fucking more, touch ups on. It would take me way too long. I'd miss the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I said that we would post the stories on the site.
Yeah.
I obviously would never be able to do something like this because I'm terrible at English.
This is why I wish that there was less letters in the alphabet, because you wanted to do like a written ABCs of death type thing. So, everyone's assigned a letter. It'd be cool to have 26 people, but I really doubt 26 people are going to get involved, but it'd be cool if there was.
Maybe, yeah, see, I don't know. I like that idea of it being like themed like that, but I can't really see that many people wanting to be, go out on a limb, because people are going to be judging your story, right? Like that's the big thing where I feel like it'll shoo some people away, is they're just like, man, I don't want to be judged. A lot of people are like that, man. So whoever we get, I mean, we'll figure out what we're going to do with it. But Brandon, awesome, hosting contests in the site. I mean, how awesome is that, right? Like, he went out of his own time and was like, hey, I'll give away free stuff to people in our group page. Like, that is so fucking cool, dude. Like, we have like the coolest listeners ever.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring up the whole Secret Santa thing.
Secret Satan, get the name right.
Secret Satan. I say Santa. Secret Satan for Halloween. Yeah, I think pretty much everyone's got their stuff. For the people that don't know, it's just a Secret Satan thing for Halloween instead of Christmas. I think pretty much everyone's got their stuff except for me.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
We're gonna give it another 2 weeks and we'll see what happens. And it's just the risk you take with things like this.
Yeah.
The person who does have you could actually be busy. I didn't get mine out till the week of Halloween, and I'm a fucking leader of this group. One of the leaders, and and I would have tons of pressure on me to not screw somebody. So if there's a regular person, chances are they can even have a worse month or whatever. And two, if they did actually just snake out of it or whatever, then
fuck you.
Then it's just the risk you take. We had that happen in our NFL pool last year. One person didn't. One out of the 15 or whatever that was in it. Those are not bad odds. It's a chance that you're gonna take. 20. Yeah. What did we have? 20 some people doing this. 26 or some crazy shit.
It's funny that I kind of called this too. I'm like, I just feel like I'm gonna get fucked on this one. I have those feelings, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But it's probably a good thing, JP, that we switched, eh?
We got enough fucking movies as it is.
Because I don't think that person would have. Or
yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. So.
So yeah.
But anyways.
Definitely, if you're interested in the written story contest, either message me or Brandon, or post in the group, or message Moodz or whoever. Just contact us. Say you want to join, and all you gotta do is write a story and submit it. So we'll once we get more people on board, we'll talk about how it's gonna play out. But let's move on to another voicemail. This one is from Chris.
Yo, this is Chris Vance. I'm calling in, and I am feeling good right now. All right. So, yeah, this is Chris Vance from the Garden of Horror, and I gotta think of a question right now. Well, what you guys should do first is really get in that mood, talk about the beer you drink, because I would like to have a conversation with them about that. That would be phenomenal. Yeah. All right, so I gotta think of a question. All right, so here's the question: what guy would you like to drink with, like a villain in a horror movie? And why would you like to do that? Because that would be awesome. Like, it could be like, a killer or whatever, and you would have a drink with them, and it'll be a good time because you guys can go out into the night and do your thing. All right, later.
All right, which horror movie villain or killer would you like to sit down and have a beer with?
Oh yeah,
Jeremy.
Otis from House of a Thousand.
Damn, that's the one that I had too.
That is funny.
I have a backup though.
Totally. He's a cool ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is a good question, man. I really enjoyed it actually. But yeah, I would definitely like to have that conversation with you, buddy, about beers. That would be cool. Yeah, shock topper. But I actually, as the question was, being delivered, I instantly came up with my answer, and it was a no-brainer for me, and that's Patrick Bateman. Of course,
that was another one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I have a third backup.
Yeah, I was like, Patrick Bateman's got to be my fucking choice because he just seems like he'd be so fun and cool to talk to. I think we just have a great time.
Yeah, he'd be just telling you all kind of shit about pointless facts.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It'd be a perfect match.
So good picks from both of you. Both picks that I actually had literally thought of and was, gonna use either one of them. But I did have a third one that I thought of, and that was Hannibal Lecter. Simply because he is so intelligent, and you would just feel like this guy is a genius, and he's going to tell me a bunch of stuff, and he's going to trick me, and then he...
No.
That's not a bad one.
I hope he likes your Mexican asshole. It's a very erotic piece of meat.
What? I don't even know how to respond.
Awesome
just fucking
stuff.
put it in a fucking corn tortilla and fucking just
Oh, it's kind of
This is
ironic. He put
this
his
is
asshole
amazing
in a
Mexican.
corn tortilla. Ooh, yeah. A rusty starfish in the middle of that corn tortilla. Yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely interesting concepts, though, right? Like drinking with a villain. I see we all went with either like a smart ass or a smart guy.
Yeah. Because I think those conversations would be awesome.
Yeah,
It's just,
for sure.
it'd be fun.
All right,
Cool.
so next up we have we have two from Dave Z from Banana Laser Podcast and Skeleton Crew Podcast, I believe. So here's Dave.
Hey yo, buongiorno.
It's Steve.
It's Dave Z, everybody's favorite Italian stallion. Just calling because I got a lot of shit to say, but I'm very happy about this Italian Horror Directors Month because I love that stuff, and especially today, Argento is my favorite horror director. Period. So I know you guys are gonna do him some justice because come on, the Animal Trilogy is fantastic. I gotta say, my favorite of the three is Four Flies, but it's all great. Argento's the only director that I've never watched a movie of his and said it sucked. Yeah, I know some are gonna disagree. Okay, but I meant to call before. I wanted to
Phantom of the Opera.
Jeremy with the ABC's of Death 2 rating, All Hallows Eve 2. Although it does kind of resemble ABC to Death. Anyway, I just got to tell you this. I think that of the 8, 6 are watchable. 2 I would never want to see again. That Carnival one sucked ass. And that other one with the father and son and whatever. That one was terrible too.
I don't even remember.
But, it wasn't all that bad. So I have to stick by my 6. But again, it's a 6. I'll watch that movie probably again, but I'll just use chapter search. I don't think it's as bad as you say, Jeremy. And I don't know how much you love the first one, but I don't know. I give it like a 7 out of 10. I can't justify going like above an 8, but if you do, what can I say? Then I don't know what you're talking about either. But anyway, man, the boys were kind of rough on you last show, so I ain't gonna bust your balls. I love you, homie. You're all cool with me.
Fucking
I fully
sympathy.
expect
Jesus
it to go
Christ.
3 minutes, so when it breaks, it breaks. But Moodz, hey, go Bills. Take the Sabres with you.
No, thank you.
Completely fucking fed up with my hometown team, so I got nothing else to say about that. And JP, I have to say I was wrong. I'll give you props. Eli Roth did not disappoint with Green Inferno at all, and I even like Knock Knock. So I'm not going to say dude's gotten better, but he definitely didn't fall off like I thought he was going to. So, props to you. Props to Mr. Roth. And we'll see what happens next.
We're just going to roll to the next voicemail, by the way.
And to the matters at hand, Italian horror, I want to ask you guys, since you love questions. Hold on, Jeremy. Sorry. Yeah, shit, I timed that perfect, see?
You gone fuck up, son.
Jeremy, sorry. I know you might be over there saying, another fucking voicemail? Somebody might say, it's 1:30 in the morning, or some shit like that. But just busting balls, man.
11:30 a.m. here.
Yeah, so hopefully I can make this up with entertainment, even if it is 2 messages, and it might be taking up so much time. But yes, I want to know, since you love questions, and they're not difficult questions when I ask, so nobody's got to worry about it. Foreign movie, not just Italian. If everybody can pick just one foreign movie, what would it be? What's your favorite? That's not hard. I know you guys can do that. And anthologies. First you did Tales from the Crypt, which was an anthology show, and then you were talking about an anthology movie with Tales of Halloween, which was good. I want to know what everybody's favorite one of that is. For me, it's real easy because I think that Creepshow, as far as movies goes, standalone, fantastic, the best. Everything about it is amazing, and I could go on and on. I don't think anything can touch it, but there have been a lot of good ones. And television shows, forget about it. The original Twilight Zone. To me, nothing can touch it, but I know nostalgia weighs in. I think most of those shows are hit and miss, but I think that, Twilight Zone's like 90% hit. So, that's all I got to say. And, like I said, looking forward to this. And talk to you guys later.
All right, so that's Dave asking us a few questions. I got to say that was a pretty damn good voicemail, even though it was two-parters. First up, guys, what is your favorite anthology TV show?
TV show?
Yeah.
I thought you just said your favorite horror TV show.
Either or.
Oh, well, Tales from the Crypt.
Well, the answers are right there anyway.
Tales from the Crypt.
I gotta go with Dave and agree that the Twilight Zone is definitely like 90% hit, if not even higher. Like, I don't even think that you're ever like, man, that episode sucked. You know what I mean?
I thought that he underrated that, man. I was like, 90%? I was like, motherfucker, that's like, damn.
Yeah.
I've stated many times, man, the Twilight Zone is by far my favorite show. It's one of those shows that you can just grab a random disc and pop it in, and the episodes are awesome. You don't even have to look at the episodes or whatever. It's amazing. I always said that the Twilight Zone was so far ahead of its time. Like, some of those episodes were just amazingly written. Even today, 50 years later, 50 plus years later.
Well, just think about how many times they've been ripped off and reused.
Exactly. I mean, tons. Even the remakes of the Twilight Zone just started ripping off older episodes, remaking those, and they've used some of these ideas in films, obviously, and it really is amazing. Yeah. So good.
I got to go with Tales from the Crypt overall, though, just because it's more of a horror show than Twilight Zone.
Yeah. I mean, those are definitely my two front runners too. So.
Yeah. Favorite anthology movie, Jeremy?
Well, Creepshow, of course, is classic, and the newly released Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I've talked about that one a lot. It's one that I really, really like.
So that's your favorite?
Yeah.
Moodz.
Growing up, man, I was the hugest Creepshow fan. Probably until 2006, when Trick or Treat came out. I shouldn't actually say that, because Trick or Treat never took over the #1 spot for a couple years after it. I liked it when it came out, but it grew on me. It grew right over Creepshow, if that makes any sense. It just kind of, Trick or Treat is my favorite, man. I think that is like a flawless anthology.
You know what, man? You are correct. It is a near perfect anthology. It really is. I can't really even think of big negatives I have with it. Maybe just certain bits of comedy could be over the top, but even then, it's a stretch. That is my favorite anthology as well. Or that is the best anthology, I think. But my favorite anthology, and it's hard because that one is one of my favorites as well, the Trick or Treat. But my favorite is Tales from the Hood.
Yeah, I actually had that, kind of noted too. It's definitely one of my favorites.
That's a truly great movie that is underappreciated simply because the title sounds like Tales from the Hood. That, it sounds so bad in a way, right? That film has mad social commentary and undertones.
Oh, it totally does.
It's a brilliant movie, kind of. It's crazy to say that, but it is.
I think it's getting a little, it's kind of getting forgotten because a lot of people haven't seen it because they can't.
Yeah, the DVD is like out of print, and it didn't really have a big release to begin with.
Yeah,
Blu-ray, come on.
It really didn't. Even the VHSs are getting very scarce to find too. So, people are asking a lot more about it. So hopefully someone puts in some hard work one day and acquires those rights from pesky HBO or whoever the fuck owns it. Man.
Synapse recently told me who owned it. They actually tweeted me back when I was like, who the hell owns Tales from the Hood? And I forget who they said, but it wasn't HBO. It was not HBO. It was like,
so
maybe.
You mean to tell me HBO
Warner
made
Brothers?
the film? Wow, and then they end up selling it. Why has this movie not been released?
I forget who it was. Oh, Warner. Yeah, Warner owns it. I tweeted at Synapse and they said, I was like, who owns it? Universal? Because that's what I heard. HBO. I heard Spike Lee owns it. They said Warner owns it. So fucking Warner, man. They don't sub-license really. Maybe it'll come out on their Warner Archives label.
Which is fine, because if they drop the Tales from the Hood on the Warner Archive on Blu-ray, it'll be pressed up, so
Yeah.
you won't feel cheated.
Sure.
What was the third question? Favorite horror or foreign horror film
Yes.
of all time? I kind of cheated on this one. Because there's so many old films that I fucking love. Like, I mean, obviously Italian films. Anything Bava and things like that. And I was considering, The Phantom Carriage and Eyes Without a Face. There's so many good foreign films. It's just ridiculous. So I decided to cheat. And I decided to go with one of my favorite ones at the moment, and it's Wake and Fright. It's not necessarily a full blown horror film. I consider it to be horror because it has this nightmare feel to it that is just so hard to explain unless you actually see the film. It's just so captivating and amazing. I've watched this movie so many times since I've had it. It's crazy. But Wake and Fright from Australia, awesome flick, man. I'm in love with it right now.
Yeah, Jeremy, what about you?
Easy. My favorite film of all time, The Phantom's Carriage from the year 1921.
It's a good pick. Me personally, I didn't really look into this question all that much because I just didn't feel like going through my entire library and be like, what is my favorite foreign film? It is just pure laziness. I do not feel like doing that. But the one that I always go to is Let the Right One In. I mean, this film to me is one of the best films in the past 20 years. I love it so much. I haven't even watched it because I want the Blu-ray. I never even watched my DVD because I was just like, I need to see this on Blu-ray next time I see it. But yeah, I just fell in love with the beauty of that film. The snow, the blood, the vampire mythology. Fucking great movie.
Good choice.
Yes. And he also commented on Roth. I give Dave props for being honest because I did, some people when they're really, standing offish about Eli Roth, they will never admit that they might be wrong. And yeah, so he liked Eli Roth's 2 new films, I guess.
How did Eli Roth become such a hostile, name? People get so offended, if you bring up Eli Roth as a good director, people are just easily offended by anything related to Eli Roth, his name, his films he produced or wrote or fucking interview. It doesn't matter what he does. People are always up in arms about Eli Roth.
Okay,
Is it just me or do I see nothing wrong with Eli Roth?
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
I don't understand.
And
I think Eli Roth is a cool guy. As a matter of fact, I want to go out for a fucking drink after I go out with Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, there you go. So I think this is not relative to Dave because I think Dave just honestly did think that Eli Roth's films were a little overrated. But most people, I think, hate Eli Roth because they are haters. They are just haters in terms of Eli Roth is attractive. He made it big in Hollywood. He's Quentin Tarantino's boy. He has this frat boy look to him.
You said
people just don't like him. People just don't like him for those reasons. It's pure hater mentality. They don't like the fact that he was successful off
and
of
the horror, the haunted house, and in Las Vegas, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
He's a pretty boy, dude. He's a pretty boy horror fan, and people don't like that. They want horror fans to be fat with tattoos and fucking heavy metal, heavy headbangers, and
I guess it's
skinny.
Simple. I guess it's as simple as that, right? Haters will be haters, and they just don't like the look. I mean, it's so sad that it actually comes to something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't.
What about all the hot chicks?
Look at his film. You can't just judge him by the films in his career, but you're looking at him personally. So this is more of a personal hate, and these people won't allow themselves to, maybe admit that he doesn't actually do that bad at work, but they don't like him. So that's interesting because there is people out there that I don't like as a person, but I do like their films, and the obvious choice is Victor Salva. Yeah, exactly. I think the guy is despicable. I think he's disgusting, and he probably should be dropped off on an island and bombed repeatedly. But that doesn't change the fact of the matter that I do enjoy his films.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
So, you just have to kind of look at things from an objective point of view. I mean, this is pure hatred, personal hatred.
And now
Fuck
there
you,
are
Hayes.
the people out there who are like Dave and actually do just think that he hasn't done as well as everybody says he has done, which is fine. I just don't like the people that are like, fucking Eli Roth, man, dude sucks, fucking pretty boy faggot.
You call me pretentious, you fucking assholes. God.
Yeah, I've literally heard people call him.
Come on,
like,
Jeremy. Let's not get ahead of
I
ourselves.
call him like pretty boy faggot. Like I've heard people say that, which is fucked up, really.
But it's not even true. Eli Roth's not gay. If you, it's just
He's
like
Jewish.
It's so uncalled for. It's so uncalled for. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be calling people faggots, but like, I don't know, man. People are just fucked, man. I just don't get it. Just look at, judge people, based on their work.
It's
I
the
don't
same
know,
reason
man.
people hate Rob Zombie, but it's a different reason. It's the same.
It is very
like
similar.
style. It's just haters being haters, but it's for a different reason.
It's true.
Fucking Rob Zombie's slut wife. They always say that. That's my favorite one because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you
She
fucking.
can be as slutty as she wants.
Oh,
She's hot, so.
he did this movie because he just wanted to throw fucking Sherry Moon into a role. Just
Yeah,
wanted to
guess
show her
what?
tits and ass off.
If I'm making movies, I'm putting Moodz in every one of my movies. I don't fucking care. He's my friend. I don't see how that's a fucking big deal. It's not
Exactly.
like it's
You know,
not like
and-
Sherry Moon is like the worst actor either. Like she did good in Lords.
She did do good in Lords, and she even said herself that she wasn't sure if she's going to be able to hold it down, and I think that she did a good job. So, but
Yeah.
and that's the beauty. I mean, look, there's tons of filmmakers out there that do this all the time. Kevin Smith makes movies with his friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why
if
the
I was
fuck
a
would you
filmmaker
not
In
do
every
it?
movie.
If I was a filmmaker, I would totally cast my friends also because it would make the experience fucking fun.
Yeah.
Why not keep that, that
It's
that feel, that feel, everyone knows each other, you're going to come off really well.
Uh-huh.
Things are just going to come off really well in the film and natural and things like that. So why not work with your friends? I would cast you guys. I'd cast Jeremy as a pretentious asshole that worked in a movie store,
don't
and he's like, "Oh, you're going to fucking rent that? That's not French. You don't fucking rent non-French films. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit."
Yeah, you don't rent fucking non-French films. French
You don't
films-
even rent
You just
films.
don't. You're like, put that fucking Italian film away. You only watch French.
Yeah, considering I fucking gonna watch 12 fucking Italian films this month.
Well, you really didn't have a choice now, did you?
Yeah.
Actually, you did because it was a group decision. So
Well, he got
Um,
outvoted either way. It's
Yeah, well,
it's
I-
majority
it
rules.
is. That's how we do things. Majority rules.
Yeah, we're gonna
And
do
it's
a
always
French
me and
month?
JP agree
Huh?
on something, and Jeremy's like, "No,
We're gonna do a French month.
Probably not.
maybe in February. February French month.
Okay.
No."
No.
Guys, fuck you.
All right. We're going to do an entire French episode. The Fab Five. Don't forget it.
Yeah, that is coming. So that's a big episode.
Yeah, that's a huge episode. But let's move on with the voicemails, guys. We got a couple more here. We got one from Derek right now.
Yo, what's going on? 22 shots. Derek here. Italian Horror Month is the greatest thing ever thought of.
Thank you.
My question is related, of course, to this, of course. I know that the Animal Trilogy is scored by Ennio Morricone, who pretty much is an awesome composer, in my opinion. I know he's probably better known with his work in westerns and stuff with Sergio Leone, who actually did give Argento his first writing job with fellow Italian director in the future, Bernardo Bertolucci, on the film Once Upon a Time in the West. And also, Morricone has scored numerous giallo films, not only for Argento, but also Fulci, Lenzi. I know he's scored for Aldo Lado, too, like a bunch of his films, including The Night Train Murders. And my question is, he also, of course, did work with future directors, too, like De Palma, Carpenter. He scored The Thing for John Carpenter, which I thought was really interesting because Carpenter was a big Leone fan. And I was just wondering, what do you think of his composing library of films, of the ones you have seen? Hope to hear back. Wicked awesome. P.S. Sorry that I was possessed by Marlon Brando last show. It happens sometimes. He just comes inside me. I know that didn't sound right at all, but
He just comes inside you.
and he likes to be heard because it's Marlon Brando. So hope to hear back from you guys. Peace out. Wicked awesome.
Please
don't think he
excuse
realized.
Derek. He's a Patriots fan.
Exactly. I don't think he realized what he said there. He just comes inside me sometimes. Oh, God, that might even be the rankest thing I ever
That's
said
a
on
new
the
sound
show.
clip. New sound clip right there. So
Oh.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's gonna be he came inside.
That's so good. Yeah, what do we think about Ennio Morricone's filmography he's worked on? My God. Huge. That's what I think about it. It's insane how many movies this guy's worked on. Yeah, that's really impressive. Besides the obvious choices with Argento's Animal Trilogy, man, he really did work on a lot of really good giallos in the 70s, and I mean the guy is still working today, which is phenomenal. I mean, just talk about putting in work.
Oh yeah.
A couple of films that came off my mind, like Once Upon a Time in the West, of course. The music in that film is fantastic, and then going right into the 80s, Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, great music in that film. Really interesting. He worked on that film too. But I have to say, Black Belly the Tarantula, great score in that film. Short Night of Glass Dolls, which is a film I did review. Really cool premise, man. Awesome premise, and how this giallo is developed is really cool. And I also said Spasmo, because I recently watched Spasmo, Umberto Lenzi Spasmo, after all these years of wanting to see it, and it is fantastic. The movie's fantastic. I reviewed it on here. I'm not sure if I mentioned the music. I probably did, because I usually do, but it's really good. So, but those are a couple choices of mine.
Me personally, I would probably have to go with one of the three Animal Trilogy, simply because I honestly haven't seen a lot of these films. I was looking through his list. The Thing is good. I read that he did Kill Bill. Is that true? That's another good one.
Some Tarantino.
I think that they might have used music that he composed.
Yeah,
before.
that's what I thought. Was thinking
Yeah.
it actually was. I don't think they sampled his work, not he actually composed on the film.
Yeah, I mean, most of the music in those films is just, it's just been rehashed, right? So
Yeah, so I would probably go with, out of the Animal Trilogy, probably, man, it's tough because all three of them I really like, but maybe Cat of Nine Tails I like best, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeremy?
Cool.
I'm gonna go with a unconventional non-horror film, Days of Heaven, Terrence Malick. Just a really fantastic film, and
Never seen it.
a really great score. You can pick up on Criterion Collection. It's slow, and I don't think it's for everybody, but it has a really great score.
So in other words, it's probably a really pretentious film.
I guess so. Isn't anything in Criterion pretentious besides
everything.
Pink Flamingos?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. But no, it sounds Terrence Malick. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
All right, so that was the only question from Derek, right?
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Lawrence.
Hey guys, it's Lawrence. I might be a little late to call in for the podcast today, but in case I do make it on time, I know that one of you who apparently has a sandy vagina is complaining about the quest being too hard. So, let's make things a bit simpler. I want to know, what is your favorite setting for horror film? I mean, just a place where things go crazy, just an atmosphere where things
Yeah, really hard question, dude.
really eerie. It could be anything. It could be the classic run-down, turn-of-the-century house, or it could be the always fun and popular carnival. Maybe it's a run-down space station on another planet. Just let me know what you enjoy and what you would look forward to in a horror film. Anyway, hope to hear your next podcast real soon. Great night, guys. Bye.
Yeah, Lawrence, thank you for the question. I like it. Favorite setting for a horror film? Yeah, I've stated many times, man, what mine is. Mine is straight up in malls. I love mall settings for anything. It doesn't even matter if it's like a horror film, a non-horror film. I mean, fucking Mallrats is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Love me some mall settings. I don't know. There's something weird about a mall. I'm not even a big mall person myself.
It's like
I
a
don't
time
like to.
capsule.
It is. I think that's what it is because I generally don't like to hang out at malls now. Well, I shouldn't. I'm like 35 years old. That's ridiculous. But even when I was younger, I didn't really, loiter at fucking malls and shit like that. But just love it. There's something weird about a mall. Mallrats awesome. Dawn of the Dead is my favorite horror film of all time, but not by chance. It takes place in a mall. Love me some Chopping Mall. Shit like that. But any type of scenes in malls, I just love. Like even the mall scene in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. It's wicked to see. I don't know. There's something cool about it. And yeah, I mean, if I had to pick up like a backup one, it'd be like maybe like a grocery store. I've always said Intruder's one of my favorite slasher films. Partially it does have really, really good kills in it, but I love the setting. Every time I watch that movie, I notice different products. Love the cereal aisle, all the old cereals and shit. And it's kind of cool when you watch that film because it came out in 1989, and a lot of the products that are in the film still look the exact same today. These companies haven't changed anything. It's kind of cool. But yeah, time capsule, I agree. Malls and grocery stores, those are probably my favorite, which there needs to be more films set in grocery stores. It's bullshit. Yeah.
How about you, Jeremy?
Well, I was going to say JP's asshole because that's pretty horrific, but...
Oh, that rusty starfish. Ugh.
Yeah. It's a pretty horrific setting as it is, but come on, everyone knows insane asylums all the way.
Yeah, that's
Jeremy, you're so predictable. But no, those are awesome too. Really good.
Yeah, me personally, I don't really have like a specific go-to. I guess it would be isolation. Like anything like The Thing, winter settings are good for me. Just somewhere that is isolated. I always think that those work. Apartment buildings is another one I know Moodz likes. I enjoyed those ones as well. And then like I always think of Phantasm like mausoleum scenes. Those are really fun.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Another thing I really do like is when shit is set in high risers.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about like big fucking buildings, man. That's why I like Poltergeist 3 more than Part 2. Like I do like Part 2, but I think I prefer Part 3 because of the setting and it works a lot better for me. But yeah, those high risers, cool shit, man. Cool shit. Plus Poltergeist 3 is set in Chicago,
Yeah, I like Children of the Corn 3.
I think this one's actually, it might even be actually shot in Chicago.
It is shot in Chicago.
Yeah, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm surprised no one said Carnival.
Yeah, that's another big one though. I mean, yeah.
And in my opinion, it's a majorly underused setting. They do make Carnival horror films. They just don't make as many as you think they would.
Yeah, that's true.
It is. It's strange, isn't it? So, yeah.
All right, moving on to the last voicemail. It is from Luis, I believe. Luis.
Hey guys, this is Luis Soto from SoCal from the Facebook group.
Way off.
Thank you for welcoming me into your group with open arms this year. I've learned a lot in the span of a year and still am. Hope you guys are doing well. Congratulations to you and your wife, Moodz, on your adoption.
Thank you.
Jeremy, on your final weeks at school.
Yeah.
And JP, keep grinding. My question is this. If you had the tools to create your own custom artworks for your booths, would you do it? And if so, what would be the first one you'd do? For example, would you include the original poster art, VHS cover, or make your own? Thanks. Love the show, and thank you for your time.
All right, so first thing I got to say is I found it hilarious how he's like, Jeremy, congratulations on this. Moodz, congratulations on this. JP, you ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I never really thought about it before. If I had the tools to create my own artwork for, Blu-rays and stuff, would I do it? Yeah, the answer is yes. Of course I would. I think it'd be kind of fun to screw around. I mean, I wouldn't be trying to utilize it to, to sell and bootleg and things like that. But if you're just creating it for yourself, yeah, of course. I think it'd be fun to do. Now, I think he was asking, like, which film would you do too? Like, would you use...
Yeah, like, what would you do?
The first thing came to my mind was, something that, really doesn't even have a release. It'd be for myself, though. But I would like to create, like it'd be cool. The Freddy's Nightmare series.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And probably use like the original. I mean, for that, I guess I'd probably maybe create something myself, because I don't know if there is any official artwork for it. I'm not even 100% sure.
There was a VHS release with a couple episodes.
Yeah, but those VHS covers weren't the greatest. So for this instance, yeah, I would probably just create my own type of art. But that would be the product that I would do. Would be Freddy's Nightmares, because well, it'd be fucking cool to have. Just be cool to have. So, but yeah. But the answer is yes. I would totally do this. I think it'd be super cool. I mean, I can't even make a thumbnail properly, so this would be a stretch for me. I would have to really sit down, and I do thumbnails like, to the best of my ability. They work for me, but JP's much better at this.
I'm getting better. I'm still not good. And I'm gonna answer this one from kind of a different stance, and that is if I was like part of a company like, let's say, Scream Factory. I like their model. I like the newly designed artwork with the original theatrical artwork on the reverse sleeve. So I would go with that model, so I would incorporate the original. And the film that I would choose would obviously have to be one that is either out of print or hard to get. Freddy's Nightmares was a great pick, Moodz, by the way. Tales from the Hood. I just think there would be a awesome cover. I obviously would not design it myself because I am a terrible artist. But I would get somebody who is a good artist and have them do it, and then I would just pick which one I like the best. Reversible cover would be that classic, skull with the gold tooth and the glasses. And getting my saliva going just thinking about it. That would be so awesome. What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, of course I would do it. Like you said, it would have to be for out-of-print films or films that have shitty artwork. But, yeah, I think it would be fun.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have one in mind?
No.
Okay. So that is the voicemails.
Yeah. Alrighty. So... concluding the voicemails. Moving along into a little segment we call Knowledge. JP, do we have a topic for this week's Knowledge?
Yeah, so I was going to originally pick the topic of Masters of Horror after hearing Dave's voicemail. Like, what would a Master of Horror... What is the qualifications of becoming a Master of Horror? Would you need a couple 10 out of 10 films? Would you need... a handful of 8s, but I decided we'll save that one for another conversation, maybe when we do Masters of Horror Season 2 or something like that. I found this thing online. It is, I believe, a thing created by IMDb. It's sort of this little picture thing. It looks kind of cool. It is movie monsters that rolled the big screen by decade. And I thought this was just something really brief that we could kind of talk about. Starting in the 1910s. The top 3 types of films, subgenres that were coming out were 8% of them were ghosts, 3% were demons, and 3% were vampires. So in the 1910s, ghosts were kind of the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Huh.
So
I can see that because it was easy. It's all shadows lighting. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably the easiest effects to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then into the 1920s, what do you guys think was most popular in the 1920s?
Vampires?
No.
Close, but no cigar.
No. Supernatural again.
Yeah, so ghosts again, supernatural ghosts. Vampires were at 8%, which was in second place. Ghosts are at 11%. And actually, this is one that I thought Jeremy might have guessed, and that is witches at 4% coming in third place. It did seem like there were a few witch films back then.
Yeah.
So going into the 1930s, it should come as no surprise that it's still dominated by ghosts at 8%, creatures at 7%, and vampires at 6%. Then moving into the 1940s, and it is also ghosts, but this time at 15%, which is, higher than the previous years. So ghosts are really kicking ass in the first, 40 years of film. Vampires coming in at 7% and zombies at 7% in the 1940s. Then we move to the 1950s. Anybody care to take a guess? This is the first time it breaks away from the ghost era.
I'd say in the 50s, man, it's more like kind of sci-fi creature.
Yeah, creatures. Yeah.
Yins would be correct. At
Yeah.
19%, it is creatures. So do you think things like Creature from the Black Lagoon, all those
all that.
50s, 50s sci-fi and creature invader films, and invaders, aliens at 14% was in second place, and vampires at 11%. So 1950s had a lot of that, nuclear giant creature space invader type shit, which I think we all kind of knew. Then in the 1960s, what do you guys think?
That's interesting.
Serial killers?
Nope.
I don't know, man. I would probably go with.
I guess serial killers.
Man, maybe No.
No,
I don't know.
You were right.
Yeah.
It was vampires.
It is Okay, I was trying to think. I was like, there is a lot of vampire films, but
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Wow.
the 60s had vampires, ghosts, and witches in the top three. Vampires with 14% of all horror films made.
Witches.
Then 1970s, which I'm surprised at as well. Also, I would probably say that they use a very specific group of subgenres. I think there's only like 6 or 7 that are listed in this entire thing. So it really is your standard like vampires, ghosts, werewolves, demons, stuff like that. It's very specific.
Yeah.
And the 1970s has vampires with 12%. So vampires is
Really?
dominating the 60s and 70s. Ghosts coming in at 9%. Ghosts are pretty much a mainstay in
That was
every
gonna
one
be
that
my
we
pick.
listed, except for the 50s. Ghosts did
I was
not
gonna
make the
pick.
top
I was
three.
gonna pick Ghosts for the 70s.
Yes.
Interesting.
So that's surprising to me. Okay, 1980s. What do you guys? Slashers. That is 100% correct. 21% of all horror films made in the 1980s were slashers, which is
That's
the highest
incredible.
percent on this entire list.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. I mean, it really was the boom of the slashers in the
Think
in the
about
80s.
it, man. In 1981, every single weekend in that year had a different slasher film premiering at the cinema.
Sometimes more than one.
Well, yeah. Well, I should rephrase. At least one slasher film was premiering every weekend in 1981.
Yeah.
That is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Could you imagine living in those days and I'd be at the cinema every
Yeah, but don't you think you get fucking tired of it?
fuck no.
Oh.
So amazing. Could you imagine Friday night you go and you go see fucking The Burning and you go see something else? It'd just be so cool, man.
Yeah. So slashers was at 21%, ghosts was at 12%, and zombies was at 11%. Then we moved to the 1990s. What do you guys think?
Wow. Obviously in the later
Slasher.
90s it was slashers. Wow. I don't know. I would probably say slashers, yeah.
No, slashers was in third place at 8%, ghost was at 9%, and vampires was at 10%. So vampires still dominating. I guess you think of stuff like From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know. John Carpenter's vampires. There was a few, I think, right? I would be curious to see a list of
That's weird.
titles, though. So, these statistics. Some of them seem a little off to me, but it is IMDb, so I guess they would know more than me. Then in the 2000s, we have. What do you guys think are the top? I think this one's quite obvious.
Zombies?
No.
Ghostlies?
Yes, Ghosts at 17%, which is one of the highest. If you think about all those Japanese ghost films being remade in the U.S. and stuff like that, there was a lot in the 2000s. Zombies was at 10% and slashers was at 7%, so slashers were still going strong as well. And then we go to the 2010s, which is the last decade that happened, and you are correct, it is zombies. Zombies is really kind of overtaken, and still even into the the first 5 years. But that is kind of what I wanted to leave it off on, guys. So we are now just about halfway through this decade, right? 2015, January will be 2016. What is the story of from 2011 to 2015?
Zombies, slashers, and horror comedies.
Yeah, comedies.
Comedies and zombies, and sometimes zombies. I think that's still what's dominating.
Yeah.
It is interesting looking at it in terms of vampires are a lot on this list, and ghosts are just your classic horror tale. It really did like kind of just dominate every decade. Almost every decade, I think Ghosts is featured in the top 3, except for the 1950s. The 1950s is the only decade in which ghosts weren't, and that's because the world was like worried about real life fucking horror. Like,
that was the atomic age, man.
Yeah.
Sci-fi and nuclear. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but
yeah. So definitely, I'm not very optimistic about the next 5 years, which I wish I was, but
yeah,
I really want to see a return of the hardcore horror film, and it just does not seem to be going that way.
I know, like we've commented on this a few times recently about this year with the horror comedies and stuff, but man, it really is insane like how many are coming out. Like, it just, to me, it just seems like a lot of people say they make horror comedies because you can't, some of these directors, they just can't make a serious horror film. I mean, that might be true. I mean, who knows? But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, I think we're starting to really miss those hardcore films, those real bona fide horror films.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind watching horror comedies. There's been some really good ones. Like I said, Suburban Gothic, and most recently Bloody Knuckles, which was fantastic.
Yeah, Bloody Knuckles is fucking awesome.
We need another American tragedy. Like, we need something bad to happen in order to get these dark horror films.
I know, we talked about this. Isn't that so sad that like we have to rely on, a really, really horrific event?
We need a depressing world to create these violent dark horror movies. It too happy every time?
Apparently it's too happy right
now.
Yeah,
apparently the world is too happy.
Making happy, funny feel films.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. I don't have a problem with laughing. I mean, I do it a lot, but there does become a time when I'm like, wow, like I just want to watch something so fucking downbeat and just brutal. And
like the early 2000s was very big on that. Post 9/11 and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, makes a lot of sense though. But yeah, I mean, honestly, okay, where was Vampires again in the 2000s?
Nowhere in the 2000s.
Okay, that's right.
It was in
and
the
that's
90s.
The thing, like, because I always, when I talk about vampires in the last like 15 years, there hasn't really been a lot of vampire films. I mean, there's a fair amount of them, but there hasn't been like a lot of good ones. The vampires has really, really dropped off. Like, people just don't make vampire films anymore. But there is some good ones though. There are some good ones. So maybe we'll see like a re-up of vampire films in the next 5 years, considering, that they have dropped off so much. Maybe you'll kind of revert to that a little bit. It seems like ghosts are just always around.
Yeah, they are.
I find
always all around the last 100 years, except for in the 50s.
I mean, I find that slasher films are still always hanging around. People always make slasher films, but I think vampires might come back because, let's face it, zombies can't continue this type of hold that they have, or can they? I don't know. People are getting burnt out, man.
Yeah, I think they're dying down. I think that if they would have like opened this list a little bit, I do think that the early 2000s might have had more of like the real life horror type films going on, like serial killers and stuff like that. I just don't know if they used that type of subgenre when compiling this list, or if it was just very basic like slashers.
Yeah, I mean, one subgenre will never see like a major uprise is probably werewolf films. I don't know, some of werewolf films, they seem to get made here and there throughout the last 100 years. There's never really been a big like, holy fuck, like last year there was, I think, 3 or 4
phases.
There was some, but when you think about it, that was like the big, uprising of werewolf. It's like, holy shit, there was like 400 zombie films, compared to like 4 werewolf films.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild to me. And I love werewolf films too. They just don't make them.
It's just hard to make too, though, if you think about it. You really have to have like a good looking werewolf, which is pretty hard.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So yeah,
When zombie films, it seems like anybody with a $1,000 budget can make a zombie film. It seems to just dominate the indie world because every indie director is like, I think I'm gonna make a zombie film for my first feature.
So they make money.
They do make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like again though, I mean, the 2000 to 2010 era was definitely probably dominated by remakes the most. But again, that's not really a subgenre. I would like to see a more in-depth look at these type of lists, like just something that has a little bit more of everything and not just ghosts, zombies, slashers, vampires. You know what I mean?
I'm really surprised that there was nowhere in that conversation that found footage never got mentioned.
See, but are they including found footage? That's what I'm wondering, right? Like, is that, or is it very just your standard subgenres where it's zombies, like Monster? It is called the monster that ruled the big screen, so it might just be the type of.
I mean, let's be honest here. The last 10 years, there's been a fuck ton of found footage films, and they still come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, it's way more than fucking vampires.
If you go back to the
werewolves,
1990s,
like those big subgenres. Yeah.
How many found footage films did exist? Maybe 20, maybe. And now it's like there's one that comes out every week.
2 trillion.
Yeah, it really, it's an overpowering subgenre.
Yeah,
it really is. So, yeah. Was that it, guys?
That is it.
All right, that was an interesting knowledge. I mean, that really was knowledge. You were breaking out stats and numbers there. So that's actually funny. Really interesting. That was fun. That was cool. Okay, so getting into the morbid fact courtesy of Rue Morgue, the Coroner's Report of Weird Stats and Morbid Facts. This one is coming from the brand new issue 161, November 2015. I just got this the other day. Actually, I got this the day that we recorded the last show. So, and I just kind of looked through here as I was taking my poop earlier. That's when I was finding my morbid fact. And I decided to go with the very first one on the list because I thought that JP would love this. It's very simple. Ichi the Killer and audition director Takashi Miike cites Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre as his favorite horror film. I actually found that quite interesting.
That is, yeah, because he doesn't make films that are anything like that.
Exactly my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So.
Yeah, that is cool. It's a lot of people's favorite. It is. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a bad film. I give it, 6.
If that happened, me and Zach would literally stab you in the face.
No, it's literally in my top 30 favorite films of all time. So
yeah, it's literally one of the best horror films ever made.
I don't agree, and I mean I don't disagree with that. So
yeah,
but yeah, and that is going to conclude Mood Swings for this week. Now, moving into what we're all here for, and that is the first part of the Italian month, or Italian Stallion month, as some might call it. Like we said in the top of the show, we are going to be focusing on Dario Argento's Animal Trilogy. Yeah. Very, very exciting. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Start.
All right. So, first film up here from 1970 is the Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Bird with the Crystal Plumage, I remember a while back, Jeremy had reviewed this film on the podcast, and I was like, what the hell is a plumage, and what the hell does that mean? And you guys explained to me what plumage was. Jeremy talked about that film in episode 17, so, many episodes later, we're going to talk about it more in depth.
Holy fuck, was it that long ago?
It was.
Wow, that was I had no idea.
Guess it was that long ago now that I think about it.
That was the classic Beneath episode.
Really? Man, I had no idea it was that. I didn't. Wow. Cool. Again, with the knowledge.
Yes.
Knowledge.
Awesome.
You're fucking
stuff.
on a roll, you knowledge bastard.
Yes. Awesome stuff. But yeah, the Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Now, giallos have been around for, roughly about 10 years, I think. at this point, and this is Dario Argento's very first film that he ever made. So, and this is his entry into the giallo subgenre of horror films.
What is a giallo?
It's a
A
murder
giallo,
mystery.
it's just a murder. It's the Italian word for, well, yellow. I think translated over here it means yellow, but their translation, it's just like a murder mystery.
Yeah. So
Essentially.
so that's essentially what it is. I think over time they incorporated like slasher elements to them, and they're barely on the line of horror. It's sometimes as well.
I don't think they're really horror that much.
It depends.
More,
it depends.
I think they're more
which
drama
one you're
crimes.
watching, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Of
I mean,
these three, I don't
it
think
has
that's-
horror elements. I mean, you look at giallos, and if you look at what slashers are based on, they're really based on a lot of that POV killer and the stabbings. Some of these films play out like they're slashers, right?
But this is before slashers, though.
Yeah, these are
Exactly.
like prototype slashers.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the horror element of these. I mean, slashers kind of took these ideas,
Uh-huh.
that POV and the stalk and slash, and these were just like a whole subgenre of like prototypes.
Yeah, and originally, I believe the giallo itself, the yellow, was from, if I think I read this, but it was from like murder mystery like magazines, and the covers were always yellow. So I think that before film, they were kind of these mystery tales of magazines or books or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Cool. But yeah, the premise of the bird with the crystal plumage. I'll just read the one-liner here. It says a writer is stalked by a serial killer after witnessing a murder attempt on one woman's life. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much what it is. It follows our main character, Sam, who
is American.
ultimately is American.
Well, they're all is American.
Yeah. And he's over in Rome he's an American writer. He's in Rome working, doing his thing. And he's, going to be leaving Rome in a couple days. He's walking the streets back to his place where he stays to go chill with his girlfriend. And he looks into a building and he witnesses what he believes to be a murder in progress.
Correct.
There's a killer there with a knife, and he goes to stop it, but he ultimately gets stuck in between these doors, and he can't reach the scene that's happening, and he can't get out either. So he's trapped in there. The scene plays out.
Arrive.
They disappear. They find him in there. He ultimately tells the police what he's seen, and the police investigation starts. And he figures that, he's not really enjoying how this is going too much. Also, he doesn't really have a choice now. He can't even leave the country because the main detective actually takes his passport from him, so which kind of forces him to stay there because he's like the key witness.
Yeah.
And he feels like the police aren't doing the greatest job, so he takes it upon himself to start investigating to what fucking happened in that art gallery. And that's basically the overall premise of the film. Now, our thoughts.
Well, I think the first thing that I would like to note is the very opening shot. That kind of really just set the mood for me, and it really just set the future of the film, because it's very well lit. It's a shot, like a top-down view of a person at a desk, and they're surrounded in blackness. And I'm a sucker for shit like that. So right away I was like, all right, I'm down. Let's see what happens.
It does. Dario Argento, even in that opening scene, that is he kind of sets the stage for a lot of his films with that
his
one
mise
scene.
en scène is just like
man,
perfect
that
right
is
there.
such an
What is that,
Argento
Jeremy?
staple.
Mise en scène is anything that's in the frame that's not the actor. So cinematography, props, lighting, all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and like just the way he shot that,
Costumes.
he does that a lot. He uses a lot of overhead shots. You probably noticed in even Four Flies on Grey Velvet. There's, I think, one of the beginning scenes in that film is like this really great overhead shot at nighttime.
Yeah,
like he loves to use those type of shots, and and this one just has a lot of his type of staple things right away. Close up of the note and eye shots and things like that Argento's really known for. I mean, the focusing on eyes is like a very 70s thing in general, but Argento does it kind of cool though, and he does it throughout all three of these films is very prevalent. But
yeah. So after that, right away, there's another scene that I really like, and that is A freeze frame like picture taking scene. I love freeze frame. I love when it's incorporated into intros. Moods, I know you do sometimes, not like in certain films though.
Yeah, certain films not the biggest fan.
But you know, it works well in this one because it is like the frame of a picture, like the photo snap, which you know is very voyeuristic for one, which I'm also a big fan of. Very prevalent of the '70s. I love the voyeurism thing
that
that is
movie's
going on.
especially prominent in the next movie.
Yeah,
like way more prominent. But
you know, right off the hop of this film too, like he incorporates. You know, there's a lot of really interesting nods to the original giallos, you know, the Bava giallos, and you know, with the uses of red right away in his films, and that's what Bava was known for. You know, once we get to those films and you guys, you know, get to see that, but I thought that was interesting. That's something I would pick up on.
Yeah, but you see you see like blues here and a whole bunch of other
but
bright
just
colors
uses of red. I mean, like in you know, Blood and Black Lace, like like every scene in the film has red in it. Right, it's done purposely like that, and right off the hop, like you see like the red of the cloth and stuff, and it's just kind of a you know, a shout out to those films right there. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm making this type of film, and I love that. You know, he's just putting those staples right into his film. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know, right away, the one thing that I wanted to bring up, and you can kind of bring it up in any of these three films, but it is, for one, in this one, the art gallery. And what I want to say about that is, while watching these films,
my favorite scene throughout the three.
Yes, and one of the things that I wanted, it doesn't have necessarily to do with the film itself, but it's just the way things have changed. I always feel that older films and the films of the 70s and 80s, when they looked for locations, they actually put like mad effort into it. They found that like this art gallery is fucking beautiful, dude. The way that the glass windows are, and just that like enclosure that's in there, and I just feel that nobody really does that anymore.
Have
they
you
don't
read
really
my piece that I
take
wrote?
No.
Well, read it. I think you'd
I
find
I read it a long time.
I talked about that scene a lot. Like,
I read it a long time ago. I don't remember it, but
yeah, like that scene, like
filmmakers,
a lot of the context that goes on later into the film is connected to that art gallery scene. Like, if you guys don't know, I studied this film quite heavily. Like 3 semesters ago, I wrote a long paper on this movie. It's on the podcast website if you want to read it. But that scene is so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to kiss his ass, you know. I'm not. As we get on to the other films, I don't think they're as strong as this movie, but that scene is just really fucking.
Okay, well let's get into it then.
He really did put a lot of thought and like the thought process in the scene was incredible, actually. Yeah. One thing I noticed, I mean, we probably all noticed different things, but I love the amount of different angles that he uses in this. Because the way he shoots the scene and the way it's edited from all those different types of angles is like, and incorporating Sam's ability not to stop it, he just creates this total hopeless tragedy.
That's this masculinity stripped away.
Yeah, exactly. He creates this hopeless
now,
tragedy.
What do you mean by that?
It's almost like a play. See, I'm not 100%. See, we will get into the stripping of the masculinity thing because I do have issues with that. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same fact, he doesn't know
what
I don't
we
know, man.
know.
See,
he doesn't know what we know.
Exactly. And that's what I have a problem with that. But I think that whole scene, to me, and the way I see it, is it plays out like a hopeless tragedy because he's stuck, and it's so beautifully shot that it kind of plays out like a play.
Yeah,
you know,
but
it's just so, I love the hopeless feeling, and when you're watching, you're going, fuck.
That's what I meant about the locations, though. Like, this is a very special location. Like, this is like, it's not your average anything, right? You don't see things that look like this, from the glass enclosure to the style of the art gallery inside, and that is lost with today's filmmaking, especially on the more non-theatrical releases, and even the theatrical releases. They just don't find these grand places anymore, and there's a lot of them in this film in general, and a lot of them in the other films in general. But back to the art gallery scene at hand, because Jeremy I have heard him say that the masculinity stripped away, that whole article that he wrote, and I never quite got what he meant. I didn't read it, obviously, because I didn't see the film at that time. But what exactly are you meaning? Because I have issues with it as well. I don't really see it this way.
Yeah, I don't either, actually. But Jeremy, explain
But
yourself.
that's the wonderful thing about film analysis, though.
Yeah.
It's like, so Sam, he is a strong character. He follows typical male traits that he's always in control of a situation. Women are, looked at as weak. And then I understand the point where you're getting at that he doesn't know it's. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Fuck, and this is gonna be really hard.
I know. That's what I said. Even talking about this masculinity strip thing is hard.
But I don't really want to know what, like, that specifically. I want to know what traits do you see later on that reflects somebody
He becomes
being...
extremely a weak character.
Does he?
See,
I don't see that at all.
See, Jeremy, I completely think it. I completely see this differently, because the reason why I think Sam is a really strong character the entire film is because, I mean, I understand that he's put into a really tough situation. He's forced by the police to stay. At first he doesn't want to. Like, if he had the choice and he still had his passport, he would have went back to New York. But in this case, he doesn't. And they take his passport from him. Now he's forced, but he takes it upon himself. He's like, well, since I'm here, he could just mope around and, fuck his girlfriend and do whatever. But he doesn't.
We never really see him fucking his girlfriend, though.
Well, no. I'm just saying.
The rest of the film.
But I'm just saying he could. He could.
But he could.
But he doesn't. He takes it upon himself because he sees that the police are maybe not doing the.
He couldn't stop what was going on in front of him, and I think him as a writer, he always feels like he's in control because he's always in control of his destiny because he writes. He makes his living through what he comes up with. And the fact that he's stuck and he can't help this woman who's getting killed, he's not used to not being in control of situations, and then when he's not in control of a situation, he looks weak, and I think he looks. But
okay, there's a difference between looking weak and having your masculinity. That's two different things.
Okay, see where I was getting at with this is that he's put in this position. Like I said, he could lay back and do nothing. Of course, he is a strong person, but he uses that strong trait that he has, and he decides to completely look into this investigation and do things himself. And I think by doing that, it keeps him strong. And I don't really think it plays out any part in the film that, it makes him look weak, because he keeps the progression going. He never backs out. He wants to find out what the fuck
because
happened.
Okay.
He really does want to solve this. And I don't think, I mean, if there was ever a moment where he tried to bust out and go, okay, I'm just going to fucking sneak back to New York, fuck this, that would probably break and, kind of disprove my theory. But I think that he's strong.
But see, I think there's a difference between strong and weak and masculine. Masculinity is something different. It does not mean anything to do with how you react to situations. If he would have left, that has nothing to do with his masculinity in the first place. That just has to do with his survivability.
What does masculinity have to do with anything then? What do you think?
I don't think it has anything to do with anything.
Not with this film, just in general. What do you think it has to do?
Yeah, as for the masculinity,
it has to do with being a man.
I'm just arguing the fact. That he's not that he is a strong character.
Like, okay, you bring up the girlfriend thing about how he didn't, sleep with his girlfriend or whatever. To me, if his girlfriend wanted to sleep with him and he said no, that's being the man. That is taking control of the situation. She wants him to stay. He says no. She throws a glass at him. Like, to me, that's traits of like masculinity.
Because he wants to find out. He's being a strong person. He's like, hey, I don't have time for this foreplay. I need to figure out what the fuck is going on. And that shows that Sam is a strong-willed person. Like I said, he could sit there and have sex with his girlfriend and do whatever he wanted. Chill, have tea, have crumpets, fucking play some PlayStation, which would not happen in 1970. But you know what I'm saying? He could sit back and just kind of play down to the situation. He doesn't. He progresses. He moves forward. He tries to figure out what happens. And he does investigations. Because that's what he does. He's a strong person.
Yeah, I
don't think his masculinity is stripped to the point where he's like, okay, I'm fucking stripped naked. Now, I'm just going to mope around.
Figuratively.
I know.
Speech.
No, I know, but I'm using it as literal.
Yeah.
And because of the sex scene. And I completely understand where you're coming from, Jeremy, but I just disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing about, yes, being strong and, strong-willed and stuff, and all that stuff does have to do with masculinity, but it's not the core definition of it. At least I wouldn't think so based on what I think of the word. But Jeremy, I want to know specifics. Like, what do you see that led you to that conclusion?
What do I see?
Examples of what actual examples of the masculinity no longer being with him.
Okay, beginning of the film, he's strong-willed. He's writing all this kind of stuff. He's walking down the street. You have to pause it frame by frame. I have pictures I could send to you but you have to look at the things that are inside of the art gallery and the way that Monica is placed and the killer's placed and the fact that he's trapped and he can't do anything. Like I just said, it's all about him always having the fact of being in control, and now he's not. Mm-hmm. It's a visual thing. I'll have to send you visuals, but a lot of the pieces in the art gallery are phallic shaped and strong women, Monica in certain positions in the frame where she's over this phallic symbol. And
I mean, the obvious phallic symbol is the knife.
Well, the knife, but like pieces of the art gallery, like there's a guy holding a world, and there's a whole bunch of other things.
Okay, what about after that scene though? I'm saying as we follow the character going forward, as he does his investigation, what signs are there that he no longer has his masculinity with him?
I don't know. I think he just feels a weaker character than he did in the beginning of the film.
But is it in the sense that anybody who goes through a situation would be somewhat weaker, or is it that this character no longer is masculine, so he is weaker? Because to me, it just feels like the first one. Like yeah, he's and really he doesn't feel very weaker to me at all. But I'm saying if he is, it feels more like it's just the sense that he been through something traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's bugging him, right? He's having memories of it. He's
that's
trying
why,
to figure
that's
out
why I think
what
he's just
happened.
so strong, man. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that film theory is that, right? It is theory, which is fun as hell, because if you can make connections and connect the dots and pull something out of it, there's no right or wrong answer.
But you see this.
No, there really isn't.
You really see this in all his films. Some sort of. That's what I love about Argento.
I wouldn't say all his films though, because both me and you have a very small palette of Argento's films.
Yeah, but a lot of the films that I've read about and I've studied, all have some sort of. Argento makes some really interesting comments about sexuality and gender roles, and I know me and Moodz were talking about this last night, that people always see Argento as a woman killer. He likes to kill beautiful women, and I'm not denying that. He does that, but all horror movies do that. But the fact that he makes really pro-feminist choices in his films, that he always has some kind of woman.
I don't buy that.
I think.
Why not?
Yeah,
I think people that say that Argento sees women as lesser might actually be closer than the people that say that he does these pro-feminist things. And honestly, the key thing that I go back to is his daughter Aja, right? I mean, there have been people have always said like, well, it's a different culture that he puts his daughter nude in his films. No, those fucking Italian people, the people that are from Italy, think that it's weird too. It's just we use that as kind of an excuse.
I'm not talking about his. I'm just talking about what we see in the films. And he always has strong women in his films. Even though beautiful women get killed, he always has this. Think about it. Think about these three films.
Mm-hmm.
Almost all of them have strong women in them.
I don't see them as strong. I honestly don't.
Why? How do you not see?
Because they're lesser. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah, I don't know about how many strong women are.
They're not strong.
Really?
They're shining it. For one, they're shining a negative light, and they're shining a lesser light. Lesser is in something is wrong with them.
Okay, how is there anything wrong with guys in movies that are crazy?
Wait, what?
What happened if it was a guy that was crazy? How's that any? I just think that the fact that he has women being the antagonist is something that that wasn't really seen.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that, but I don't think that it's like feminism choices. I think that I don't at all.
Yeah, the interesting thing is these three films are a lot different than what most people know Argento as, starting with Suspiria and things like that.
See this too,
Yeah, a little bit. But I think a lot of people, those things about Argento with killing women and stuff like, yeah, beautiful women are killed in films all the time. I think it's more of how he kills them. He really, in a lot of slasher films and stuff, you see a beautiful woman, she just gets her head lopped off or whatever. It's just it's pretty instant. with Argento, he likes to play it out, like Suspiria. You know, the scene in Suspiria where basically the girl's getting fucked up bad and then ends up getting hung and blah, blah, blah. It's like a really crazy scene. He likes to like really put a lot of effort into almost torturing and killing, but in a beautiful way. I think that's where people are coming from.
Yeah, but honestly,
It's just
like
done
I don't
differently.
have an issue with that at all either, because I think that it does look better. It does look, you know,
Well,
it's
it's a
from a
style.
male point of view, obviously, but I mean, it is more dramatic than if it was a
And
guy.
that's Argento's style. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
It's
And you
really
look-
the style of
look at
horror,
opera.
though.
Exactly, and he just likes to exploit his style to the best of his abilities. He doesn't like to just, okay, here, I'm just gonna stab you. In these other films, it's, you know, in these films he does a little bit, but that's the type of film they are. But in some of the other ones, yeah, he likes to really kind of take it for a little, you know, a step further, and you know, it is what it is. So I think it's just a style, man.
Mhm.
So, but
So-
yeah, no, very, very interesting how we see this so differently. But Jeremy, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah, you
Don't
have a
feel-
lot of
act-
interesting. It's
To be
honestly,
honest,
it's cool that
your
you
take
can
on-
pull that type of stuff.
Your take on it is super, super interesting, and this is one.
It's
this
definitely
is,
of note.
analyzing films
And there's a
is
whole
cool.
bunch of things you have to think about. Oh, I don't want to get into Freudian things and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's just a whole bunch of this. I really think interesting things. It's hard to talk about without giving spoilers.
Well, the Freudian thing is interesting because he keeps having, like in this one, it's more flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Freudian theories and stuff can really play into Four Flies on Grey
And
Velvet.
Deep Red too.
Because he's literally having dreams that are being progressed throughout the film. But this one, you know, I like, you know, getting to the point of these flashbacks and stuff about the, you know, the scene in the art gallery. I love the way this film is done. You know, how he keeps kind of seeing things, but they keep showing it from different angles. And
The
it's just
reason
kind of,
that he's seeing
love
them also is important, which I think it's not just a flashback. It's him.
No.
It's him showing the audience that there's something up. Like he needs.
exactly.
He's trying to remember things.
exactly. But I like that progression in the film because it just keeps kind of, it shows the audience like, this is what's going on.
But-
He was really trying to figure this out.
Very quickly,
But it shows you different angles, and I love that, the different angles of it, and like,
very quickly
done
for
well.
the audience though. What is Freudian? What in a very simple way? What does that mean?
study of dreams.
Yeah. Study your dreams, mother, penis, fantasies.
It's not just
Whole
the
bunch of
study of
stuff.
dreams. It's actually, you know, Freud was, I think he was convinced that he actually knew what dreams meant and things like that's kind of, he was really taken to the next step.
Okay.
There's a whole type of thing.
Interpreting
that he
dreams
thinks
actually
that-
is what it was. It was interpreting dreams. So certain things in dreams, like getting someone's head lopped off, would have a fucking bona fide meaning.
Yeah,
And Freud
or
was convinced that these certain things that you dreamed were connected to reality.
like boys hated their fathers and they wanted to sleep with their mothers and take their dad's penises and all that. There's a whole bunch of really
Yeah, it's
interesting things that I think doesn't really play out in this film, but it
no.
like Deep Red it really plays out and
Well, even Four Flies, right?
yeah
Four Flies is because he's literally having dreams.
yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So one thing that I do want to say, guys, is I did have a little bit of a negative early on, and I like it's a kind of a pet peeve of mine, and it's kind of nitpicky, but it honestly always bugs me in films when they do this. It's after the gallery scene, our lead character is walking home, and somebody attacks him with a hatchet. And then he just goes on about his business. And I always hate that because that's one, it's not realistic, right? Nobody's going to get attacked by a hatchet and then just be like, well, I guess it's crazy out here today, you know, and just continue on. So that
not
is
reported or
an
anything.
issue for me. Like, I hate that. I hate that when that happens.
Yeah.
It happened a lot. It still happens a lot.
Well, you know the funniest part, the thing about that scene though. I mean, the scene is absolutely beautifully shot and stuff, but yeah, it's a little silly. But my favorite part about that whole thing is when Sam goes back to his place and he tells his girlfriend about it.
Yeah.
Her reaction to it is so funny. She has no reaction.
Yeah.
She just like doesn't even react to it. It's like so funny. She's so calm about it. She's like, oh yeah, hatchet, yeah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's like such a fucking weird scene. Like, wouldn't you be a little more like, holy shit, man, we should probably call the cops?
Yeah.
And you know, there's one scene in particular that I'll also use as like our character is in control. He knows what he's doing, and he goes to talk to somebody, and he throws a pack of cigarettes at that person to see what hand
that
they
scene.
catch
But
it with.
is he in control?
Yes, because
Yeah, I think he is.
chooses to do that. He chooses to. He's ahead of this guy. He's in control of the situation. He got one up on this guy by tricking him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, it was the obvious, it was the obvious attempt too, like, let's test the husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really like that though. But the throwing of the cigarette pack is just brilliance, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and it's nonchalant too. Like, they don't make a big deal out of it, which I thought was
No.
cool. Because you can easily miss that. Like, if you're not somebody who's really paying attention to the film, it just looks like he gave him cigarettes, right?
Because just previously they had talked about how the killer might have been left-handed and things like that, and then let's test it out. It's good filmmaking.
Yeah, it is. It's good writing.
Pun
as
intended,
well.
but Argento just kind of throws a little
Because
stab.
Argento didn't write these, did he?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, I think he
Okay,
wrote these.
man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. He wrote this one at least.
He wrote all three of them.
Okay. So what about the murders?
Like the actual killings.
Yeah.
I think, like, once again in this movie, you definitely start to see a lot of Argento's style start to show up in this movie, particularly the scene where we're looking up the staircase and the bird eye view from the top of the staircase looking down. I think we see that a whole bunch in all of his, at least all the movies I've seen, we see that a lot.
Yeah.
I think we start to see that right away in this movie, especially particularly in the first murder.
Well, this whole movie is it's just like an Argento. I don't know, man. It just has all the staples in there.
Mhm.
It really does. I mean, all the women in this film are just absolutely beautiful. I love the way the kill scene goes down with the shit, man. I don't remember what her name is, but the girl that's in bed smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that whole, she's smoking and it's kind of like a POV shot, and as the smoke clears, you see the killer and things like that. But
Is that the one
some
where,
people,
is that the one with the straight razor?
yeah, it cuts up her face and stuff.
Yeah. You know what's funny is in this film there's a gunman and he's wearing this bright yellow jacket, and in my head I'm like, what the, come on, really? Bright yellow jacket? Like, you're supposed to be trying to get away and you're wearing a bright yellow jacket. And then I was like, god damn it, I'm an idiot, and this film is smarter than me, right? Because what happens is he walks into a room filled with people with yellow jackets.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, because normally I'm gonna complain about something like that, but then the movie tricks me and I'm like, okay, it's smarter than me.
Yeah.
So one scene that I think it's one of the greatest scenes ever of comedy, and it is when he goes to meet the art gallery painter, the guy who painted the art, which I love that whole dynamic, right? That's complex. The whole picture, how it ties into the ending and everything about it, that's complex. I love stuff like that. It has me.
Yeah. It's really well written.
Into the plot.
Yeah.
It's just that's when you realize this film is more sophisticated than your average horror film. So but there's like this comedy that comes out of nowhere. But when we were asked a couple weeks ago, like, what kind of comedy we like, what kind we think works, why does it work, this is the comedy that works best for me, hands down. It could be perceived as not even funny if you're young or a kid or something, or just don't understand,
because it's really
it's
subtle.
dark, it's subtle. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, I think anything that wasn't this subtle for the film would not work, because the tone of the film is just too serious, right? You start throwing really kind of bad, cheesy jokes in there. It takes you out of it. So you need to have that subtle comedy, but
that
it does really work.
character was fucking batshit. I loved it.
The guy, the painter with the cats.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is, it's such a weird scene. It's when Sam goes to visit the dude in the jail.
Oh yeah.
And there's a fucking moment. He's sitting there talking to the guy, who I might add kind of looks like Tom Savini from the side, oddly enough.
Yeah.
There's a side shot of him, and I'm just like, holy shit, that looks like Tom Savini. That's fucked up. But there's a part in this film where he's talking to him, and the guy says back to Sam, he goes, he's like, do I look like the guy who exploits women? And I fucking bursted out laughing. Like, I know it's unintentionally funny, right? Because he's just so fucking ugly, and he totally looks. And I instantly thought to myself, I'm like, no, but you look like you fucking eat them though. Laughing out loud, right? Because he's got this super like fucked up eyes. Really, like his teeth are literally non-existent in his mouth. He's got like fucked up teeth, and he's just a weird looking, creepy guy. And he's got this porn stash, and he's got everything about him is just creepy as shit. And I just bursted out laughing. I'm like, I forgot how funny that was. But see, again, you know, the comedy's a little more subtle, but it's just, you know, funny to me. But I like that scene actually. And you know, oddly enough, that guy makes an appearance in Four Flies.
Was it this? Is it the same character or the same actor?
No, totally same actor.
Okay.
He actually makes an appearance in Four Flies. Just a quick little part, but it's pretty funny actually. But just to see him again, I was like, oh, that's the guy that eats people.
So I was surprised that the bird with the crystal plumage actually like meant something, and all three of these actually do. So that's pretty.
Yeah. You know, another scene in this film that I really enjoy is, you know, the scene where Sam's walking. They're walking down the street with his girlfriend, which I can't remember what the fuck her name is. So bad with names. Julia, played by Susie Kendall. She's so beautiful, isn't she? Ugh, love Susie Kendall. But you know that the scene where I found kind of interesting. Like she kind of says to Sam, she's like, "What's with this guy following us?" And he's like, "Well, that's our bodyguard." I just thought that just the way that went down was kind of interesting. But you know, of course, there's a scene where he ultimately gets mowed down by this car, right? And you know, and this is where it kind of disproves. You know, I don't want to disprove Jeremy, but where I'm thinking that Sam really is a strong character is that, you know, he does the obvious thing. He hides Julia, and you know, the guy's chasing him, and then it kind of reverses, and he ends up chasing that guy and stuff. You know, he's really putting in the full effort. He could have just ran, you know, like a fucking pussy bitch and got away from the scene, but he didn't. He turned the pages, and he starts chasing after this guy that jumps out of this car. And I really like the way the whole scene goes down. I think that's it's well shot too. It's really, really well shot. It's well lit. You know, it's like that perfect darkness, but it's like really kind of creepy, and it's fast paced and kind of cool and stuff like that.
I think
like that.
I think one of the best shot scenes is when they reveal this a body in a room, and you know, Sam's body is blocking the reveal, and then he steps away, and then it's revealed. And I think that's like where really your horror moment in the film, one of your big strong horror moments.
Yeah. You know, one thing about this movie that is always kind of bugged me, maybe you guys can shed some light on this. I always thought it was interesting because, okay, the reason why I brought up that scene is because it was leading me to this point right here. You know, up until that point, you know, even in that point, you know, Sam figures that, you know, there's only one person involved with this, right? And you know, so the bodyguard gets mowed down by a driver, and there's a guy that jumps out of the car, right? So there's obviously two guys in that scene because the guy in the car ends up taking off, and Sam pursues the guy on foot. Yeah. Right. So there's obviously two people, and at that point in the film, Sam figures that the guy that's shooting at him and the guy that he's chasing is the killer. He's like, why the fuck else would this guy be pursuing me? He has to be the killer. But he never ever mentions that, you know, that there's two people involved. There's obviously two people. And now it never gets really brought to his attention until they're in the police lab in the film, and they're going over the phone call that he recorded. The lab scientist says, you know, he comes to the conclusion that there's two voices on there. And then he goes, holy shit, man, maybe there's two people. There could be two killers here. And I thought to myself, and I'm like, that's a really strange moment in the film because he never put two and two together when there was two people that killed the bodyguard. I mean, right at that moment, you should be like, holy fuck, there's two people involved. Obviously, there's a driver and there's a shooter. Yeah. And then at that point, and I'm just like, okay.
You know, it is kind of, I'm with you on that, but it is kind of like, okay, well, this guy just tried to kill me. Like, that's, like, he is the killer. Like, he's trying to kill me. He tried to kill somebody else. So, like, he never says that, but, like, I think it can be explained because he never says that there isn't two people involved. But, yeah, you're definitely right. It is weird that he doesn't bring it up by that point.
Exactly. You know, because, I mean, if the guy had pursued him, you know, on foot, it would have made more sense in that scene. Like, oh shit, man, there's two people. Fuck, that's crazy. But the fact of the matter that there was a driver that took off. I mean, this guy is obviously in cahoots with the shooter, but not to point it out and then be very surprised in the lab when he finds out that there's possibly two voices on the tape. It is a plot hole, but it's just something that I would note because it's always bugged me. Like every time I watch this movie, I kind of point it out, and I'm like, that is so weird to me. I'm just like, maybe I'm missing something, because it's quite possible in these type of films it's easy to miss things like throwing the cigarettes and certain things. But this is what we're here to talk about.
No, you're right. You're right. I honestly don't have a ton more on this one, but do you guys have anything else?
One thing about this movie that always I love so much is all the red herrings in this movie, man.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like, it's just filled with red herrings, man. And it's not a bad thing. It's good. I mean, you need those for these type of films, quite obviously, right? But there's just tons of them.
I love whodunits, and I love, I do love the murder mystery story. Like, I've always been a fan of that. It is definitely true that this isn't like your traditional horror film, but it's definitely in the realm of horror.
Yeah.
So it's murder, serial killer, stuff like that.
I mean, it's not like the first time we've covered something that was kind of on the fence, a boy and his dog,
Hobo with a shotgun.
Hobo with
any other film that Jeremy picked.
Yeah.
So you want to go into ratings, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I want to go first on this specifically because I need to ask you guys something. So, my rating is definitely going to depend on how this question is answered. Okay, there is a reveal in this film. Most of the time in these films, they're not really reveals as much as they are like explanations. It's very weird. It's not your traditional like reveal. It's more of like an explanation. I kind of noticed that throughout. But after we find out the reveal, I went back and I watched certain scenes of this film again. And I paused and I zoomed in and I did all these different things and I checked dream sequences and different things. And it's kind of a Greedo Star Wars thing, like who shot first type thing. And like, to me, if they were somehow able to film it the way that it ends and I just missed it, it would have been an amazing thing. But as far as I can tell, what we originally think is what actually was filmed. And then they just tell us something else. Is that true?
Oh, so what you're saying is what you see, or what Sam originally sees, is not actually what
true.
we're shown.
What was truly shown on the screen.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It's something that I mean, that's a really, really, really good point.
So it's kind of a cop-out.
Really observant. I give you mad props for that because, I've actually thought the same thing. I never went and did the research like you did and actually fucking rewound and zoomed in and freeze framed and cropped and cut and whatever the hell you did.
I had thought that, like, okay, if they did this, if they did some, like, a good, like, illusion, like, angle type thing, I will be so impressed and it will be one of the best things that I've ever seen. And when I went back, I was unfortunate to see that no, it was exactly what I thought. And I now it is a little blurry and it's hard to see for sure, but from my experience, I think that it is a cop-out, and that heavily affects my rating if that is true.
Yeah, it is something. It is something
I can see that.
No, it's totally been acknowledged by me before, but to be honest, I never thought about that this time. You just brought that back to my attention. Yeah, you're right though.
Yeah, so as far as I know, what I'm sticking with, unless there's an interview or other footage or something that shows that I'm wrong, I'm sticking to this rating because of that reason, but my rating would have been higher had they did some cool shit. So my rating right now is an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, you're right though. Without trying to spoil the fucking film.
That was very hard to dance around, by the way.
Did a good job. I give you mad props for even pointing that out. That's a really, really good thing because, how many people have seen this movie and probably never thought of that? They just took it for granted.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. So really, really good stuff. Yeah. Jeremy, has your rating changed?
Yeah. When I originally reviewed this film on the podcast, I was still in the middle. of my research and all that kind of stuff. So I've only watched it a few times. Now I've watched this film a bunch of times because, like I said, I studied it heavily 3 semesters ago. This film and Deep Red, but yeah, it's definitely gone up. I'm with JP. I'm gonna go up a whole point and give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah, you had it at 7. I thought you had it at 8.
No,
Yeah, that's well deserved. And I thought you was gonna come up too, based on, because it does seem like a film. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I watched this film a couple, like, not a couple whole times, but I kept having to like do stuff and fall asleep and, you know, just different things. Not because I was bored or anything, but I told you guys that I watched the opening like 7 times.
Yeah.
So I definitely picked out a lot more things in this one, and I do feel like this is a film that could maybe not be super great on a first time watch, but then when you really start to notice things like the actual technique involved, and that's one thing right away. I know some people were questioning whether I would like these films, but the one thing that I like overall more than anything, and you guys should know this, and everybody else who knows this show should know, I like good filmmaking. And without a doubt, you can't say that this isn't good filmmaking. So that's why I think that you guys should have known. Should have fucking known. No, I'm just kidding. But right.
See, and you know, that brings up a good point, because when there's a film that's actually supposed to be well made, and you know, these type of films, you know, I rate a little bit different, because, you know, if it turned out to be bad, it'd be like, you know, a shittier rating. I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but you know, if you take like a low budget film, like some low budget slasher film like Bloody Bible Camp, and I'm only saying that because I was watching that before I went to bed last night. And, you know, with a film like that, I know it's not going to be on this type of level. So I give it leeway a little bit sometimes, and I rate accordingly to the type of film that it is. You know, I'm not putting it on the same scale as, okay, this is my rating scale.
So you're grading on a scale is what you're saying?
A little bit.
Yeah, which I do too, but I don't heavily grade on a scale. It's just I
just factor it in. You know, I don't really know technically how much I do, but I do factor the fact that this is a different type of film, right? And, you know, it's kind of hard to lump it in, you know, that putting that next to Dario Argento would be like, are you fucking kidding me? But anyways, with all that said, you know, the one thing I did point out, you know, the thing with the 2 killers, it's always kind of plagued me and always kind of bugged me, that little plot hole. And I just don't understand why Argento never really kind of, maybe it was an oversight in the script or whatever, and no one ever noticed. I don't know. I doubt it that I'm the first person to notice that, but that, you know, that's kind of bugged me a little bit. But you know, this film is really, really entertaining, I will say. And you know, I love beautiful women, you know, mysteries. This is what I love about giallos. I love these type of films. The ending doesn't, you know, bug me as much as, but I do understand where you're coming from completely, JP. And this one right here, 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Cool.
So, yeah, 8.5. Figured I would come in there. So you gave it an 8 out of 10, Jeremy.
8. Up
to 8 out of 10. So my predictions were relatively correct on this. I figured that Jeremy would go up, and I figured that JP would come in around 7.5 to 8 on this. So I'm not doing too bad. What'd you guys figure I was going to come in?
I thought you was going to be a little higher, but then, yeah, I don't know. I thought you was going to
be higher than all of
just
these.
A little higher, like 9. I thought, but
yeah. I mean, even doing a 9 is probably not that much of a stretch for me. I mean, I think people are probably going to scream. They're going to be like, that's not making the Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you, had that ending not been like that, man, this could have been like a big one for me, man.
It's definitely a factor, yeah. But yeah, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Moving on to 1971 with the second film in the so-called Animal Trilogy, The Cat o' Nine Tails. Yeah.
Do you guys like cookies?
This one is also written by Dario Argento, of course. And this is the longest out of the trilogy, too.
Yeah.
Running 112 minutes. This is, you know, it's got some length to it. It's got some length to it, but...
It's not really, like, never really gets boring. I think it drags sometimes, but...
Yeah, but, you know...
I love, like I said, I think in this movie, the blonde guy is my favorite Argento character that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
He's so fucking nice.
All right, so the little premise on this one. A newspaper reporter and retired blind journalist try to solve a series of killings connected to a pharmaceutical company's experimental top-secret research projects. In doing so, both become targets of the killer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Well, I feel like I've talked a ton.
Jeremy, why don't you start out?
Okay.
My throat is actually starting to hurt. I've been talking so much, too. I need a drink.
Jeremy, take this one away. Lead off.
Well, I'm trying to think because I fucking watched Bird so many times. Like, I think this movie has a totally different kind of a feel to it than Bird with the Crystal Plumage, but it has that same type of Argento sense to it. But the whole pharmaceutical type company aspect to the film, I think, is really interesting for Argento.
You know, I'll give you my initial thoughts. The very first time I watched this movie, which was just, I don't know, a few years back, but this one right here always reminded me of a Bond film. There's something about this movie.
Yeah, when he's like, him and the girl driving in the car, it's like, that's why
Exactly.
I got like, that's why I got like the strong woman in that car,
part
because I think how many times do
You're
you see
right.
like a woman driving in a car really
Totally.
fast like that? That's why I always think there's something in these movies that are always pro-feminist, and like, it's like, how many times do you see a chick driving a car fast like that through the streets, and you know.
But there's just so many aspects of this film. It's just the way the script is
especially
written.
at like the end when he's like on the roof, like running around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what this movie is. It's the whole structure of this movie. It's the way the script is. I feel like, what's his name? Roberto? No. What's the main character's name in this one?
I'm
I'm so bad with names. I'm so
Carlo?
fucking bad with
Gerard, Giordani.
Carlo. Yeah, that's what it is. I feel like he's James Bond in this film for some weird reason. He
Looks like a
strikes me-
James Bond too.
He is, man. He's a very good-looking person.
Yeah.
He's very strong. He's into women. But it's the way the script is. It's the whole pharmaceutical angle, and you're trying to figure out, you know, like the bad guy that's possibly coming from there and things like that. The car chase. This one has action in it. You know, it's got the car scene. It's got, you know, the end with the roof, and there's just so many elements of this film. I just feel like, you know, Argento made The Bird with the Crystal Plumage and then watched a bunch of, you know, at the time would have been Roger Moore as the James Bond.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to make an Italian Bond film and no one's going to fucking know.
You know
I
what?
did.
You're totally right on this though too, because even when I said like, for some reason the reveals always feel like explanations, that kind of reminds me of like a James Bond style villain too, where it's like now I'll tell you my master plan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, this is I
think this film's reveal is definitely the weakest out of the three.
You know,
it's clear as day.
It's a really good one. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeremy.
I actually called the third one really easy.
Yeah.
The third film.
Yeah.
I predicted the villain.
I'll get into
But
that
it's
too.
clear as day in this movie too, though.
But I think this. Yeah, I think
Like the moment he goes to like the club restaurant type of thing, and he talks to the old guy, it's like, oh, I know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one definitely isn't written as well as the Bird with Crystal Plumage, for sure. The script is not as strong, but maybe that's what, you know, it was intended. You know, I mean, Bond movies aren't necessarily the strongest scripts either.
Uh-huh.
You know, but all in all, I think it does work, and this one does portray a lot of really interesting characters. Like I said, you know, the Carlos being the Bond type character, and of course the blind character, which is, like you said,
nice.
the most interesting character, Franco.
Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie.
Yeah.
But you know, that's an interesting angle. You know, to have, you know, just someone that
Once
he
again,
didn't
he-
even know start
Yeah.
investigating with him, who comes from the same realm of reality. You know, he's a retired reporter too, and he's a puzzle solver. You know, and I like that. In a way, it's kind of cheesy.
He always has fucking outcasts in society. You know, all horror films do, but especially Argento. You know, like I say, makes entry comments about sexuality and blind people, and especially sexuality in the next film. But
Yeah.
I just love how he's able to incorporate characters that often don't get the time or day to be talked about, and
I always
especially
thought it-
during this time.
I always thought it was a really interesting contrast in this film too. You're talking about, you know, I always bring up Argento and his close-up of eyes and things like that, right?
He does
There's
that
a lot of
in
like,
this one.
yeah, he does it a lot in this film. He really focuses on eyes, and I think it's an interesting contrast with, you know, his style of filmmaking you know, and doing those, you know, those fast approach eye shots and stuff,
The
but then having
audience.
one of his main protagonists be blind.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of strange, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if
that
it,
is
I don't.
weird. Yeah, I didn't really.
I don't know
put
if it
two and
means
two together.
anything, but
it
it's just
might.
something I've.
And if
Yeah,
it doesn't,
might.
if it wasn't intended to mean something, that doesn't mean that it still can't be
Yeah, it's-
perceived and then mean something.
Exactly, it's still something to point out. I just think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
But
good
you know.
point out because I didn't even think of that.
Mhm.
You think Hooper might have been inspired by like all these eye shots from these type of films?
No, but eyes have always been prominent though in horror genre. Like
Yeah.
especially in film theory, like eyes are like huge with having to do with like the audience and it's called the cinema apparatus, which is like all the audience.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. It's like I said, this is the class I took 2 semesters ago on film theory. It's definitely the most complicated class I've taken in school so far, and it's a really really complicated theory, but it's a whole thing with the audience being and connected to the projector and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like Woody Allen really dabbles in this idea,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
You know, not to compare this one directly to Bird. I mean, it's kind of hard not to, considering they're part of a, you know, an animal trilogy, quote unquote. You know, this movie is completely different than The Bird with the Crystal Plumage in a lot of aspects. Like I said, it has a totally different type feel, and
It's
you know,
less horror, I think. I don't
yeah,
know,
maybe it is.
Yeah.
There's a really good murder though in the dark room with the rope, man. That is legit, dude.
but you don't really.
Yeah,
that was
see
tight
much,
around
though.
the neck, though, man.
I think
It is
that
good.
they don't
I think-
do that nowadays, man. They
Yeah, but I
don't put
think
the
the
actors in that
I
situation.
think the train kill is much more gruesome than
great
The-
kill as well. It's
Yeah.
a
The train kill
little
is
little
awesome.
weird. Like it
Yeah,
could be
but-
perceived as a little cheesy at the first initial impact,
Yeah.
but when it's under there and it's rolling around, it's like fuck.
Yeah.
I know, it's nasty. You know, one thing about this movie is very, very different than Bird with the Crystal Plumage is the music cues in this film. Whenever I watch this film, it has that very early vibe of, you know, slasher cues. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but just the way the music is presented, it just has that slasher feel to it with the music. It's kind of weird because like in Bird, it's just completely not like that.
No,
at
yeah,
all.
you're right. No, I didn't have that noted or anything. I was having a hard time, but you're right. I am remembering that now. I do remember thinking that subconsciously as well.
Yeah.
Like those cues are a big deal in a lot of, you know, slashers. It's all about
Exactly.
cues sometimes.
Yeah. And this one, I mean, the kills are straight up like total slasher feel, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, the negative one, but yeah, it's just got a different feel. And this one is, you know, I think it ups the body count, I think, from the previous film too. I believe.
Argento's not really, at least with these 3 films, he's not really that. I don't really think he cares that much about body count.
No,
No,
he doesn't.
it's not what the film
But
is.
his point, well, his body count is it's based on the script though too, right? Like he's killing off the people that matter.
Mhm.
It's not like a slasher film where it's just like, well, you're over here, so I'm going to take you out too. You know, there is a point, there is a purpose to every kill and stuff. And you know, I really do like the, you know, the whole scene, you know, with the well, basically how the investigation kind of gets going in this film with Carlos and figuring out that, you know, with the crop shot and stuff like that. Well, actually, it's not even him that brings it up. It's it's Franco.
Yeah.
Right. I like that whole. I think that was really interesting how they incorporated it. Just, you know, let's see the whole negative of this, and then holy shit, yeah, you're right. I like that. That's cool. I mean, it's not really, you know, rocket science writing or anything, but I think it's effective, and it just kind of gets it going, and it's intriguing. It's intriguing. You know, I like that type of investigative reporting and stuff. It's kind of
It's
interesting.
not so much fun when you do it, believe me.
Yeah, but I just think it was interesting. I mean,
fucking hate
maybe
reporting.
it was, you know, maybe it was a little far fetched but at the same time, it's not. You know, he's blind. He didn't see the picture in there, but he asks about it. And, you know, he has this history. And, you know, they do explain, you know, like he was, you know, you get this impression that he was a really good reporter. Like he knew his shit. And so that scene just makes sense then, you know, that he would question it and he would look into it like that quick, you know. So I felt like it was appropriate. So, you know, the other aspect of this film that I find interesting is the whole, you know, the XXY chromosome talk, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's interesting for the time.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
1971, and it's very interesting that they were willing to, you know, take that chance and put this in there. You know, talking about, you know, XX or Y, was it X?
I think
XY?
isn't it?
Yeah. No, XYY. I think that's what it is. Yeah, if your chromosome ends with an X or Y, it's like an indicator for future criminal behavior and stuff.
I
And
think there is actual some science to back that in like real life as well.
I would assume so. There would be something. Argento doesn't seem like somebody who would pull something out of his ass.
Yeah, totally. But I really like the idea that they incorporated this because, it seems kind of simple, but it's kind of real at the same time, and it does make sense. These people that have this extra Y chromosome are criminals, and this is what's going on. It's simple, but it's believable. It's completely believable. It's maybe not the best storyline in the world, but it's believable at least.
Well, all three of these films, I think, 1970, 1971, like, dude, that's like fresh out of the 60s, man. Like, these films are kind of important. Like, they do a lot of things, like, things people weren't really doing in 1970.
It's different there than it was here.
Yeah.
You have to think about it, what you're talking about. Like, the U.S. is totally different than what was going on over there.
Yeah.
In Italy. Well, socially at least, they were way more. I think from what I know about the Italians, they were way more progressive than we even were like a long time before the '60s. Like mid '60s, Beatles come here, Muhammad Ali, civil rights, all that kind of stuff, hippies. It was all starting to change, but I think it was different over there. So I see where you're getting at, JP. I don't really think it's as prominent as if they were American films.
Yeah. See, I don't know enough about the Italian culture. And,
yeah, I mean,
honestly, like I have heard a lot of times that a lot of Italian films were kind of almost even made for America too. Is that true at all, Moodz? Like they went in like knowing that these are going to be that's distributed to America. Like you go into like the dubbing and 100%. Stuff. Like a lot of them were dubbed like
shitty.
But even in like American languages, even I forget. I don't even know what I'm talking about. My bad.
Yeah. No, they were, because I mean that's why they set a lot of these things from, a lot of Italian films were even set in New York and stuff. They would like love New York setting and things like that. They were made for New York, and having these actors that came over to Italy and stuff. It always seems that there's an American lead, right? So it was supposed to be, kind of fed back to them. This is what we're gonna do. It's their selling point.
Besides I don't think there's an American in Flies, but
yeah.
But
so what's up with that bag milk?
What do you mean?
Like that milk? It's in a bag.
It's just
like yeah, I know, right?
What the fuck?
I always love
it's all leaking all over the place. It's like
because it's leaking because she fucking poked a hole in it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like he doesn't clean it up or anything. He's just like, oh.
I love how he like slaps the glass out of her hand. He's like, bitch.
When he's pouring that shit out, man, he's spilling everywhere. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah,
I can't have that, man.
It's like sitting at room temperature.
Oh.
I know.
In a bag. That's fucked up.
It's like, how do they get it in the bag in the first place?
I always thought Canadians had bag milk.
Oh.
I had heard that growing up.
I believe they do in Ontario, actually. Out in the West, like we can't even buy that stuff out here. I think in Ontario you can buy that, but it's like not even available here. It's like different distributors or something. I don't know.
So, guys, did you know that this is Argento's least favorite film of his?
Which Cat o' Nine Tails?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Bird with the Crystal Plumage was his least favorite.
No. This one.
It's this one? Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, the script is a little mumbly at times. There is times where it drags a little bit in this film, and there is things that are kind of like,
it's too long.
In the script, like in the mystery, you're just like,
I knew who it was.
You kind of, and that's the thing. I think the script is just, it's not as strong as something like Bird. It just kind of plays itself out, and it's not really, it's not. It just seems way less of a film to me. I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, I don't want to say the script is shitty.
Dude, when he slapped that little girl, I was like, holy shit. He's like, she literally bitch slapped her. Yeah. I was like, Jesus. Fucking throws her in the back and just fucking, I don't know. Mm. But once again, many really interesting themes about gay stuff in this movie. It's interesting.
Mhm.
I think that once again plays with the different cultural differences between here and Italy. I don't know, but interesting between. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's it's a little tough to talk about and stuff, but
What do you think about the ending kill?
I
Lame.
love that shit.
I
What?
love when he's like.
Hold up, go back. Lame? Is that what you said?
Well, when he like crashes through, I didn't know it was an elevator until like he started putting his hands. But then it looks like he like falls on his feet. I'm like, it looks like he's gonna live when he hits the
Well,
bottom.
I mean,
well, he
but
does land on his feet, kind
yeah,
of, because
he
his hands were running down the cable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So his feet are obviously pointed at the ground.
Yeah.
I think I honestly heard Argento's. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think I actually heard him say that it's supposed to be ambiguous whether he's alive or dead.
Mm-hmm. Because
I
we
mean,
never
like,
really
that
know.
actually does make sense.
Because we never really like see him dead. All we hear is Cookie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Honestly, I think my favorite scene in this film is actually when they go to the graveyard to recover what's in that locket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole scene there when Giordini,
If you hear anything,
our main
let me
character
know.
gets
It's like
locked
you
in
can't
there.
see anything.
Yeah, when Giordini gets locked in there, and he's just like, fuck. And then you kind of feel for him because he's in there and he's just shut the top on this casket and there's bodies in there. But then what does he do? He just sits down and sparks up a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, it makes me laugh. Of course that's what you're gonna do, man. You're trapped inside a big tomb, essentially. What else are you gonna do? You're just gonna get high, man.
Yeah.
Kind of made me laugh. I like that part though. It's funny. It's well shot though. That scene's awesome. Again, Argento just never fails with his lighting. Always has really great lighting in the scenes.
So,
Creepy.
do you guys have much more?
No.
Not really. I mean, I just don't want to, give away certain
Yeah.
scenes and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
this one, it's still, in my opinion, it's still a decent.
Spoiler alert! All three of these are actually they're good movies.
Yeah.
It's just how good are they is the question.
Yeah. I still get a lot of enjoyment out of this one.
I think
don't
the characters are likable in this movie more than the other two films.
Mm-hmm.
I think our main lead's likable, and like I said, I think the blind journalist he's really likable.
It's definitely more sympathetic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because if he would... Oh, fuck. I don't want to spoil it.
It's sympathetic. I mean,
If they would have let one of the characters die, I think it would have been different. But none of the main characters really die in this movie.
I think the one thing about this film that I really do enjoy is just the paranoid feel that this film allows to have, because there's certain parts in the film that
There was that scene where the chick's on one side of the wall that I thought was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works, I guess.
It's okay. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, the paranoia thing, it really factors in because, of course, with the blind guy too.
Yeah.
I mean, having that right there, I mean, who the fuck wouldn't be paranoid? Now, you're potentially being targeted. You're blind. I mean, fuck, it's scary as shit, man. So.
I thought he was a god.
I like that. I like those elements, man. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this one.
Yeah.
So.
Ratings.
What are we gonna do for ratings here? Moodz. All right. Yeah, I mean, I said what I had to say about the film. I still enjoy this film, and I'll watch it again in the future. But there is things about this one. I find that this one kind of amps up the comedy elements a little bit. There's some scenes in this film that just, I don't know, there's something about it, man. It's just comical to me, man. I don't know. They're obviously probably unintended, I'm assuming. Maybe it's just my sense of humor. I'm laughing at people. I don't know. But I find that I think there is some intentional laughs in here too throughout the film. But it's not a negative or anything. But I still really enjoy it. 7.5.
All
right. Want me to go, JP?
Yeah, good.
This one it's good. I don't think I really enjoyed it as much as I did Bird. I don't think there's as many interesting things from a film theorist standpoint in this movie than Bird, but there's still some interesting things going on, and I think it drags at some points, and some things sometimes really don't make sense all the way, but it's not a bad movie. You have all your Argento things, your staircase shots and your colors and all that kind of stuff. So it's still a good film, but I'm gonna come in at a 6.5 out of 10 on this one.
Holy shit!
All right, me personally, The Cat O' Nine Tails. I don't really think there's much wrong with it per se. It's not as good as I wished it was. I don't really care for a lot of the. I don't really care for a lot of the driving scene, that long driving scene. I did feel like this one was a little bit too long. I wanted more of the way that Bird was. I guess it is really a standard murder mystery. Like it is pretty damn standard in terms of storytelling. Nothing. I like the incorporation of the blind man, like Jeremy and the little kid and stuff like that. Overall, it's a good movie. There's not much wrong with it. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. And cool. Everybody says that I was gonna suck Argento's dick.
You know what's funny about that, Jeremy? You totally read that completely wrong. And I was messing with you because you read it wrong.
Oh.
What I said, I think people think you're a cocksucker. Not an actual like you blow all these filmmakers. Like you're just a dick.
Okay.
Like you rate movies like extremely low. Like I think that that's what I was actually saying. But I just kept thinking it was funny because
rate movies
like,
low.
It's
hard for me to fucking. Of course, I'm gonna rate movies low. It's hard to. I think I just have a different sense of what a good movie deserves to be rated. I don't know.
I actually don't think your ratings are that bad. Like I think people give you shit for them sometimes, or maybe think that they're a little too low. But I actually don't. I don't think they're that low. Sometimes they are, but sometimes I think most of the time I can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not like Moodz who fucking gives everything 9s.
Yeah, if anything, Moodz are too high sometimes. Except for when he rates Night of the Demons remake. That is an obvious mess
or
on his part.
Dark.
I don't give everything 9s. I didn't even give fucking The Bird 9.
What did you give Dark Hall?
5.
A 5? How is that movie a 5?
It's clearly
it's not a 5, but I was entertained by it. It's weird.
It's not a 5, but you're entertained by it, so it's not a 5.
Whatever, man.
I think Moodz has admitted that he was probably a little too high on that one. In retrospect, he probably should have rated it lower. I think he has said that.
Probably. I was in the moment, man. I was fucking...
He was devil advocating on me.
I do jerk off a lot when we're doing the show. So I was probably in a moment.
If somebody out there wants to take a really big challenge under their belt, take all of the main featured review films that we've done and see what each of our average rating is.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, man. I've watched a shit ton of movies this year where they've been below 5s. Trust me. A lot of shitties. All right, so moving on to the third and final film in the Dario Argento Animal Trilogy, also from 1971, comes Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Man, definitely my favorite title out of the three.
Out of the three, yeah. It's the more sinister for sure.
A soundtrack too out of the
What is
awesome, man. Greatest title.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite Giallo titles, man. I don't know. When I think of Giallo, it just Four Flies on Grey Velvet. It flows well. It's a great title. Yeah. All right. So a musician is stalked by an unknown killer who's blackmailing him for an accidental killing of another stalker. But is everything what it appears to be? Yeah. So yeah, that's essentially what happens in this film. Apparently, the beginning of this film is interesting because it seems like it picks up. Like he's been stalked for about a week prior to this incident that takes place in the beginning of the film. Mm-hmm. So he's had enough. He's noticed that some dude has been watching him for apparently a week. So he's had enough. He follows this guy into an abandoned old theater type thing, which I might add looks fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that balcony is fucking cool, man.
Dude, it is so awesome. And even the way he falls into the little thing there on a bridge. Dude, that is what I was saying earlier when I was like, they just don't do this anymore. They don't find these grand places to film in.
Yeah, but like when he fell in and then the spotlight hits and you see the mask, I said it yesterday, it's fucking unsettling, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That mask is fucking creepy as hell.
But yeah, like that whole scene is just shot amazing. But anyways, he follows him into this old theater where he has a little bit of a scuffle with them. Dude pulls a knife, and our main character, oh man, Roberto ends up killing his stalker. As soon as he kills the stalker, he looks up on the balcony and he sees someone else up there wearing this really creepy mask, like Jeremy mentioned. And yes, it is creepy as flying fuck. That I would hate to see that mask in that dark setting. Who's actually taking pictures of him. So, and
Dick.
He's just like snapping photos, and then all of a sudden that person starts using the photos against him as blackmailing, of course. But the weird thing about it is that the person that took the pictures doesn't want money. He doesn't really know what he wants, and now he's trying to figure out who the fuck this person is, and people start dying, of course, and you've got your film.
Yeah, it opens up with that like band practice. What do you guys think of that?
I love it, man, because
I love
that
the
band,
soundtrack. It's fucking
it
awesome.
reminds me of like an Italian Doors. It's like a little heavier.
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is
That is not me.
That was me. That was weird.
not me? Yeah, but like I
Texas
said,
Chainsaw Massacre. Press next, and that I don't know what the fuck that was.
so yeah, the band in the beginning of the film, it reminds me of like a heavier version, like an Italian heavier version of the Doors.
Yeah.
Because the guy's
it's
like sitting there, he's playing the organ and shit, and I'm just like, this is the fucking Doors.
It's very like early 70s to me too. Like I love it, and they incorporate like a fly into that. It's just kind of artsy and cool.
I find that this film right here depicts the
shot.
70s a lot more than Cat of Nine Tails, even though it and I bring that up because they were filmed in the same, or they came out the same year or whatever. And this one just feels way more 70s.
It does.
Way more 70s. I think the Cat of Nine Tails actually has more of a 60s vibe.
True.
Than anything. And this one right here, I find it just really depicts it. And it's probably due to the fact of, the parties and stuff that they're at. It just feels so 70s, It's just got that.
The chick walking around where you could see her boobs through the shirt and stuff. Like that feels 70s as fuck.
That chick in this movie is definitely the hottest. The cousin.
Oh yeah, she's fucking.
She's definitely the hottest out of like all three of the films.
Yeah, more of
I don't know, man.
She has like a beauty to her.
Her nipples are a little bit too perky for me, but she's nice.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm sorry.
That seduction scene was funny.
It's edited funny because it's like all of a sudden they're naked in the bathtub together.
What is she rubbing him down with, by the way? Is it butter?
I don't know.
No, I swear to God, it's butter.
Coconut butter?
Like I actually thought it was cooking butter.
It's like a coconut, like Jeremy said, like a coconut butter type thing.
I don't know. It just looked good. I don't know.
There's some strong paranoia in this one as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love the fisherman in this his coon. I think he's a fisherman.
Dude, that scene is so nasty, man. Like throws down the little fish. He's like, eat this, and he's like, at first I think he's joking, and he just like pops her back.
It's like, isn't there bones in there? He's fucking like eats.
Well, it's like sardines, right?
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck? It's a fucking gross scene.
Sardines.
But yeah, I really enjoy the whole setup to this film, like just the way it's shot, the way it's presented and stuff. It's creepy, and it's an interesting premise because it kind of gets you thinking.
Now I want canned sardines.
Yeah, man,
they're so fucking good.
This film right here, when I first originally watched this film, I won't lie, I was really intrigued with the premise and stuff, and then it gets about halfway through, maybe 2/3 of the way through, and I'm like, I know exactly where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 100% correct. So every time I watch this film, I just try to point out other things and stuff. But, to be honest, I don't think it really takes too much away. Like, even though I think this is probably the most predictable film out of the three, for me anyways.
Yeah, I called it.
Because I won't lie, like I never predicted, with the first time I watched Cat of Nine Tails. I mean, maybe you guys did, but
I didn't actually. Jeremy said it was very predictable.
Yeah,
this right here, I actually did predict the first time I was watching, because I was kind of thinking it, and I think what had happened for me is that, oddly enough, the first time I watched this film, I'd watched another film, which I can't remember, but I think this is what happened, and it was kind of about a similar premise, with, I don't want to give that away, but I was thinking about that film, and then when I was watching this, I was like, yeah, I can see where this is going. Yep, it went there.
I'm gonna be honest, like they kind of ran together a little bit for me. So sometimes during these conversations, I think of scenes and I'm like, wait, which one was that in? Because I watched them so close together, and I fucking hate when that happens. But I mean, they all are murder mysteries that are pretty long, so they can run kind of together. So excuse me if I accidentally said something that was in a previous film.
So, right after this happens, and he again with a really odd reaction, but again, fuck, this one's hard to talk about, man.
Yeah.
Some of the dead cats.
Yeah, the dead cats, huh?
Yeah, the fucking dead cat. Yeah, I know. It's fucked up, eh? Which is kind of ironic, isn't it, right? Because the film before is Cat o' Nine Tails, and this one has all the cats in it. It's kind of strange, but
and it's like, what's up with that retina? Sees the last image. It's like, that's bullshit.
That's an old school myth, though, dude. That was actually like a myth. Obviously, it's proven false, but it was a myth. So it's of the time where there wasn't fucking internet, and I kind of liked it. It's obviously fake as fuck, but it works for the time.
Yeah. So right after the opening scene in this film, he goes home and he starts sleeping. Then he starts having these. Well, which is a reoccurring dream that starts right there. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because it's obviously, we brought this up in the Argento, or in the Bird review, with Freudian dreams and things like that. And this is quite
dreams and
reoccurring dreams. And obviously, what he's dreaming of it progresses throughout the film, which I again like, you get to see a little bit of that sequence, and then you get to see little bits and pieces more throughout the film, and then of course you get to see the end of it.
Yeah, I don't fully grasp how that connects to his psyche, though.
Yeah,
I'm a little confused with that about how is this representative of what's going on?
The only thing I can think of with this is something that I can't talk about because it'll give the whole fucking movie away. Yeah, which is unfortunate, because my theory is, which I'm not going to say because I will ruin the entire movie. But I do have a theory on why he's dreaming that. It's probably wrong. Well, theories aren't wrong. They're just theories. But I do have a connection with this, This is a really hard movie to talk about.
It is.
Unfortunately, because it's so... Yeah.
What do you guys think of the homosexual private investigator?
I actually liked him.
He reminds me of Gene Siskel.
A little bit. It's fucking hilarious, man.
He does.
You said that? That is fucking funny, dude.
Reminds me of Gene Siskel.
Totally.
You're right.
I never even thought of that. That's hilarious.
He's cool. I think once again,
man, the guy was pure comic relief in the film.
And then when he goes to the other gay guy's house and they're fucking talking and they're like, had me laughing.
What did you guys think of the, I've never successfully completed one of these cases. I was like, what?
83 of them, and I've never completed one.
I know. Like I said, man, it was they totally took this weird kind of angle with this film until it's kind of going, the tone is super serious, not super serious, but it's serious. And then when you meet this PI, it takes this downward spiral in tone. It kind of gets comical and stuff, of course, with I'm not finishing cases and stuff. But right when he goes into the private eye place, I love the door handle. It's a fucking big eye.
Yeah.
Right. And then instantly, then you get introduced to this gay, over the top private eye, and it's just funny to me, man. I just like this character, and it's just holy shit, this movie all of a sudden got funny.
It's funny.
The funniest part though is in the diner when he goes to pay for
4 steaks and 3.
He's like, so what did he have? And he's like, oh, he had 4 steaks. He had a couple eggs, a salad, a coffee, and a beer. And so he starts painting. He looks at the girl at the till, and he goes, well, I guess he wasn't hungry at all, was he?
Going back to that scene where he enters the the private eye office, it kind of reminds you of how even back then, gays were considered lesser even by themselves. It was kind of weird where he was I know what you're thinking. And he was like, I was like, that's kind of interesting.
It's just a different time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting note though, right? 71, things are just a lot different. And, a little bit, I tend to think sometimes that there might be a little cultural barrier thing there too. It's Italian.
Yeah. But Argento's totally, even in Deep Red, he likes having gays in his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting.
I mean, I don't know if it's something to like look too much into. Maybe it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just no different. I mean, I don't look at gay people as
Me
being
neither, but
gays
you have
or
to think
whatever,
about the
but
time period, though.
You don't-
that's
Gay
exactly
people
what
were
it
in
is.
movies.
Yeah, I mean, people were a little more, sensitive or paranoid to the fact of, oh, he's gay. It's like nowadays, it's like, dude, like,
Especially for me, I fucking go to an art school. Everybody's fucking.
Well, that's the thing.
Everybody's
like,
gay.
Pretty
everybody
much.
knows somebody or has a family member, or whatever. It's just a normal part of life.
Yeah, well,
But it was
there's
definitely
a
more
lot more
taboo.
gays out in the world nowadays.
I think it's just. I don't think there's more. I think more people are
I'm
just.
joking.
No, I think it's just people are just more acceptable too, so they come out.
Yeah,
Right.
that's obviously the case.
But yeah, I don't know. This movie, I really enjoy this movie. I just think it's just, once the reveal happens, you're just like, okay.
It's like, again, though, it's not a reveal. It's a fucking explanation. It's like a book.
Yeah.
These films end weird with the way they explain things. Like, it's more than just a reveal. It's like, this is my serious plot. It's so weird. I don't know. It's a different
And it's
style.
like, what's up with like the whole like, oh fuck, with the boy thing, wanting to be a boy. It's weird.
I liked it.
Something to do with Freud again. I think that's more Freud
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
there.
definitely Freudian stuff. It's connected to it's got to be connected to the dreams, and I don't.
And
I don't.
penis fantasy.
Yeah,
But she didn't want to. I know. I'm giving it away.
Yes.
I know that's the thing. This one's really, really hard to.
It is. It is. And, the thing is, like, I didn't take notes on this one because I really just wanted to lay down and watch this one in the dark. The other ones I watched with the light on and stuff. And I really wish I had took notes now because I can't really think of specific things that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. One thing in this movie that really, really cracked me up, again, going back to the PI, the scene with the private eye talking to somebody about like a lead or like a clue that he had or something like that. Anyways, the guy gives them some information on the phone, and the PI says to him, and he goes, oh, he's kind of humming and hawing about it and stuff, and he goes, this might just be a red herring. He actually fucking says that on the phone, and I burst out laughing. I'm like, man, this movie is so funny. Like, when do you just say that in a film?
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that is funny.
It is funny, right? Like, it's kind of subtle though, because he just kind of says it like in, in normal conversation, right? And I'm just like, okay, this is a weird thing to say, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about the whole, the whole premise of like the homicidal paranoid angle of the killer? How they kind of, they're investigating into it, and this person's just so vile and so violent and so brutal and stuff, based on the killings and the evidence that they've had. That
It's not really that many interesting kills in this movie.
Well, and that's what leads me, like, they're calling the killer like a homicidal paranoid, and like, that's why the person kills and stuff. I kind of like that. It was kind of dismissive at times too, and that kind of leads me into his I don't know what you want to call her, the cousin, the mistress, or whatever you want to call her. I will say though, but like I thought that her death scene was shot so strange.
Yeah, because I could see that.
Yep.
It wasn't it? Is it not just me, or was that scene shot really strange? I was just like, what the fuck, man? I mean, it's definitely not Argento's, best scene he's ever done. I always thought it was kind of weird, but I don't know. But one thing about this movie that just really, really kind of took it to the next level for me, and it got me thinking again with, his technology. You don't really think of Argento in like technology and film and in his films and stuff like that, but he kind of incorporated that into Cat o' Nine Tails with the whole chromosome thing and science, technology and stuff. But there's a scene in this film where talking about the mistress's death, I really like the idea that the police bring up about photographing the retina. I mean, it's pretty extreme technology stuff for 1971, but I like that whole idea. Of them using the eye as like a film cell, and whatever the last thing she saw would still be on her retina. So they photograph it and they go in there, and then that's where the four flies is kind of revealed and stuff. And it's kind of like where it ties into the title and stuff. I thought that was fucking fantastic. That was really cool.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Thought that was really cool, man. Just a really kind of unique thing they threw in there. So, but all in all, I don't really have a lot more to say about it because I'm having a hard time with this one because I keep.
I don't want to give spoilers.
it's a
I
hard
keep
one
kind
to
of going
talk
into
about.
spoiler. Yeah, I keep going into spoiler territory so much with this one. It's just it's. I really do enjoy this one, so
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
Ratings.
But yeah, let's get into ratings. Who hasn't gone first?
You?
Me.
Oh, Jeremy.
Well, I'm trying to think how I'm gonna give my rating compared to the other two movies. It's definitely my middle one, the one I liked in the middle. I think it's definitely not as good as Bird, and it's better than Cat. I think it has some interesting things going on with the gay comments and stuff like that. So I'm gonna come in with a 7 out of 10 on this one.
All right, I'll go next. I'm right with Jeremy. I think that I like this one less than Bird, but more than Cat. I think that this one is more along the lines of the type of film that I like a little bit more than Cat. I thought there was a little bit more like action-y type shit going on in Cat. Like I said, all three of these are good films. This one is particularly harder to talk about. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, this one is really, really just on the verge of spoiler territory, almost everything you say. You know what? I'm right there with you guys, man. I think this one isn't as good as Bird, and I think it's a little better than Cat, and I'm also right in the exact middle of my ratings. So I have an 8 out of 10 on this one. I do like this. I think it's interesting how much more comedy threw into this one. It definitely had me laughing the hardest. I was fucking laughing, man. It's pretty funny at parts, but...
Yeah, it's cool that this film exists because, like you said, it was really hard to find for a while. It didn't have a release.
Yeah, and it's so awesome that they found a pristine print of it because it looks really great. You know, this one definitely has some of the quirkiest characters in it too, which we didn't add, fully. But that's got some really quirky things going on. But yeah, that is going to do it for episode 61. I had a lot of good times with this episode. Fun times. Good times.
Good conversation on the films.
Yeah, man. Definitely a step up from last week's show, that's for sure. I think we were more of in the right frame of mind this week. It was just, times get hectic and brains get lazy, and sometimes we just get too much sand in our vaginas and
spills out on the floor, and then you get in a bad mood because there's sand all over your floor, and it's picking up sand.
But I mean,
sand right out of the. It's still moist because it was just coming out.
To be honest, these films, not to defend last week, whatever, but like I think these films were just a little more interesting to talk about, anyways. Than those ones. There's not really a whole lot to say, but but yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 61, the first episode of. One of four of here on Italian themed horror month. So next week, of course, we've got I think we have Lucio Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy. Am I correct?
Yep. City of the Living Dead from 1980, House by the Cemetery from 81, and The Beyond from 81.
Yes.
Awesome. Which one goes first? The Beyond or House by the Cemetery?
The Beyond.
Okay, so House is last.
Gates of Hell, The Beyond, and House by the Cemetery in that order coming up next week for y'all. I will remind Lucio Fulci is my favorite director, so we pretty much know where I'm coming in on this one. Three of my favorites. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Jeremy, take us out.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 61. 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror Podcast. As always, if you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you can do so at youtube.com/Moodz616 or click the subscribe button down below. If you like to see videos with people who have sand in their vaginas, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/NESRuler22. And if you want to follow the fucking asshole JP, you can do so at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. And yes, he still hates Pee Wee Herman. And so as you could leave us a voicemail if you have any questions at 724-426-6665. Once again, at 724-426-6665. And if you have any questions, you can email us at 22shotsofmoodsanhorror@gmail.com. That's 22shotsofmoodsandyhorror@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/22shotspodcast, or twitter.com search bar at 22shotspodcast. And as always, you can join us on the Facebook page for our ABCs of Death writing contest, facebook.com search bar 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror Podcast. And you could always go to our website, 22shotsofmoodsanhorror.com. Over there, you can read a whole bunch of shit, including my Argento piece. Go over there if you're interested in hearing more about my masculinity theory. And that should be it, everybody, for this week's episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror Podcast. We'll be back next week with episode number 62. 62, guys.
Yeah.
Motherfucking David K. didn't even think we were going to make it this far.
You didn't
Name
even think we'd get past
dropping.
31.
I have to name drop at least once. 31? Ha! We made it twice as far as you thought, David K. Fuck
Dick.
you, you dick.
Peace.